Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Xbox Nation. I am the Crap Gamer with you as always. Thanks for taking the time out to check it out. We've got a really full panel today. I've got some cool guests because we're talking some tech. That's some of She-Wolf's favorite stuff to do on a Wednesday night.
I tried to leave, but they wouldn't let me.
we told GKB, we're like, lock her down. We got to keep her here for moral support at least. At least for the part where we talk about some Yooka-Laylee or something, right? I mean, yeah, we've got to actually talk about some games and stuff like that. So thank you guys for sticking with us tonight. We appreciate it. Let me introduce some people first. We got GKB, the governor. What's up, brother?
What's up, dude? How's it going? What's going on? What's going on, dude? Excited, man. We got some more Xbox news today, man. Like, ton of good stuff. I can't wait to talk about it, bro.
Wednesday's been a pretty damn good day for breaking news when it comes to Xbox. So, like, that's always, like, fits in perfectly. So there is a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Yeah, Wednesday is a pretty good night for that. We also have She-Wolf. What's up?
I don't know. Like I said, I tried to leave. I was going to go start like another stream on like the Gamers Knows Best channel, but I'm not allowed to apparently.
Everybody else and their mother is streaming right now, even though I'm usually just so nice to everybody and only stream at my particular time on my particular night. But now everybody's like, hey, fuck you, Crap Gamer. We're streaming on your night. Go to hell. Yeah, so yeah. I mean, it is what it is. We got Hellhammer. What's up, brother?
Not much. Literally. Just going through these topics again.
I gave us a shit ton of topics tonight, man. We probably won't hit half of them, but it's still good to have stuff to fall back on.
Don't you always?
Yeah, you know, like I'm very excited day today. You know, anytime there's information like we got today, I think it's very awesome to kind of have a lot of topics to talk about just in case. We also have Dealer Gaming, who was a little bit late today, but it's okay.
Oh boy!
What's up,
yeah.
Oh boy!
Yeah, it's gonna be a good podcast. Welcome, and hope you guys have fun.
We got Mickey Mouse joining us.
Oh yeah, we always got a lot of people joining us. We've got Newcomb, the Canadian Mauler. What's up, brother?
What is up, everybody? Noof in the house, and you know what? I'm so tempted to start my own stream. It's called Noof Newcomb's Stream from the Urinal, real live streaming in full HD. Yeah!
Wow, full HD, huh?
That one deserves an eye roll, just so you know.
You can't hit the 4K on it.
Hey, HD in my house stands for huge dick.
Good one, Doof. Yes, credit where it's due, my friend. We also got joining us today, the Don. What's up, brother? He's a developer, so we figured it'd always be good to have his input around all this technical kind of stuff today. So what's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, guys? I am excited to be here. Not nearly excited as She-Wolf is when this console comes out, so we stop talking about it. But I'm pretty excited to be here for sure.
Oh, well, when Scorpio's out, we're not stopping talking about it.
No, I'll hear more crap about it because like one of you guys will end up taking the thing apart or something and then like go into like full detail and then I'll have to listen to all like
can you imagine Crap taking it apart and not putting it back together?
I could definitely do that. I can remember I sent GKB some documents one time, and I'm like, She-Wolf, is he like reading them? And she's like, he's super geeking out over it. Like,
that's true.
Like, I don't know. I just thought that was really funny. You know, like for me personally, like I'm kind of like that. I'm learning some of this tech stuff, but for the most part, it's like just way over my head.
Doing good, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picking it up a little bit. I'm trying to educate myself a little bit so I'm not so hillbilly-ish. But yeah, you know, it's a work in progress.
So when you say lock it in, then you're actually right.
Lock it in. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's my thing. You know what I mean? You can lock it in, and when I say lock it in, it means it's definitely going to happen at least 50% of the time. So we got that going for us.
I think that was towards me, I think.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. So, you know, I want to start off on something that a lot of people, I talked about a little bit yesterday on the video, and it was about the Xbox Scorpio supporting FreeSync and HDMI 2.1. Does anyone want to give a go on a little bit better explanation on what this does as far as the hardware and what we can expect to see from that down the line if our TVs in fact support it or whatever. Anybody?
TVs, the Don can go.
Yeah, TVs will support it. The HDMI standards have kind of pushed it with the HDMI 2.1, so you can actually go on their site. You can see a lot about it. Some people will need new hardware. Some people will not need new hardware when it comes to their HDR 4K TVs, so you got to kind of watch out for that. But the basic way to kind of sum it up is what dictates how your television's refreshes the screen is basically it's a small window for whatever device to kind of hit. There's a small mark it has to hit. And the way they kind of look at it is like, you know, you're at the bus stop. If you miss the bus, you miss that bus stop, right? The bus is going to take off. You have to wait for the next one, right? So what ends up happening is your image ends up being like a stuttering type image, or you get screen tearing, things like that. So
imagine if only half of you made it onto the bus.
Basically, yeah, exactly. And usually what happens,
imagine if you got chopped in half by the bus door and it said, "Fuck it, I'm leaving." You know, your legs left.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, that's exactly it. But it's usually not one frame that's really a problem. It's usually when it gets kind of hung up on a couple frames is when we tend to see that. And essentially, what it does is it syncs that up better. So basically, your device is dictating when your screen's going to refresh. So it's a much smoother gameplay experience, much smoother display. In regards to that, I don't know if that summed it up or not.
I mean, it's basically. That's a pretty good summing it up. I mean, it's basically giving communication between both your console or your GPU and your display directly, rather than just taking a guess.
Yeah, as I explained it today on the channel, another simple way of thinking of it is the screen doesn't refresh until your fucking graphics card or your GPU tells it to, right? That's a really simple way of thinking about it. You got perfect one-to-one frame match. It's just a really smooth image, and no matter what your frame rate is, it's going to be very consistent. It's going to look much smoother. No tearing, no inconsistencies. And you can expect to see TVs on the market for consumers like 4K flat panel TVs. Probably next year or the year after, it'll be a little more common to see.
Yeah, and you're already seeing a lot of monitors and stuff, especially people who game on monitors like me a lot of the time and that sort of thing. Like, you already have that option available already there. I mean, the HDR stuff is coming later this year on that end too.
Can't wait, bro.
Well, what does the HDMI 2.1 mean exactly, though? Like, how is that like?
It's a newer standard and it supports more bandwidth, and I think it can do up to 8K and all. It's basically about a lot of shit you're not going to even use for a long time, but I think it has just more bandwidth to support even better colors as well as any kind of FreeSync technology. And like he said, you can use it on monitors, but right now monitors, they're all DVI input, I do believe, or whatever.
You're 100% correct on that.
Yeah, so I think
for it yet.
What'd you say, Don?
They don't have HDMI support for it yet, so that's the whole thing about HDMI 2.1.
I think you'll start to see those monitors pop up now that they've actually got a device with this kind of port on it.
Yeah, I mean, it should be out. I mean, a lot of stuff is kind of back and forth, anyways. But they should be out this year. The monitors and stuff. That stuff moves much quicker than the TV side.
So they're future proofing a little bit. Would that be accurate?
Yeah,
I would say not only future proofing immediately, but way further down the road. Because like the reality is, there's enough overhead power in these systems right now to match frame rate with your television. But as you start pushing the limits of what this next console is going to be, the Scorpio, right? Yeah. And that's where you tend to get some of these hangups. That's why PC guys get kind of these hangups. They kind of push their system beyond what their natural limit is. And so that's where they get these hangups to screen tears and all these sort of artifacts.
So you're saying since basically their GPU has got so much headroom on it that it exceeds the maximum refresh of their actual display. And that's when you get duplicate frames and frames cutting each other off because they're fighting for screen time, basically.
Exactly.
So the other thing to make a good point to everyone out there, in case like this is all like gibberish to everyone out there, don't worry, your Scorpio, no matter what TV you have, will work on it. It's just these features won't work on everything. So just
and they're just bonuses, right? Like we didn't even expect this. So
this isn't even a major feature, to be honest. Like it is, but it isn't. Like it's future proofing. It gives people who are a little bit more tech minded or who maybe want to invest a little bit more to do displays or that sort of thing. Maybe something a little bit less jitter or something like that on the frame times.
It's similar to the Sony Atmos, right? Like that's a feature that not a lot of people are going to be able to take advantage of right out of the box either, right?
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah.
But
it's nice to have it.
Yeah, it's nice to have it, and honestly, in the Atmos thing, that's going to be on the older hardware too. So that's going to be upgraded across the board. So.
Okay, so I mean that all sounds pretty cool and pretty interesting. I like the tech stuff. I mean, it is kind of what it is. Like I doubt like you're saying, not many people have stuff that can support it, but maybe next year's TVs or whatever will definitely support it. Like I like when Microsoft is pushing the tech instead of like waiting. You know what I mean? Like it seems like with the Xbox One when it launched, they were really kind of waiting. You know what I mean? They weren't leading.
Yeah.
And then when you look back to the times they've been successful, like with the original Xbox, even though that wasn't like a huge success, it was still bold, like not having a dial-up modem in there, right? Bill Gates was pissed about that. So, I think from that perspective that is pretty damn awesome that they're in that kind of position again.
People forgot exactly what Microsoft are capable of because of the launch Xbox One.
Yeah,
That's why I feel like people are blown away. But then you look at some of their stuff they're doing on the PC side with their laptops with the hinge and all that special design that no other computer really has right now. They're doing a lot of that stuff in the console space now, and people are like surprised. It's like, this is Microsoft, Yeah. The X1 was rushed. Pretty much Phil said it in a roundabout way. We all knew it. It didn't have friends list notifications, right? Like, it was rushed when it came out. And it just corrected a lot of that. So.
Yeah, Mike. Wait, let's be honest. Microsoft was more than content to let the 360 ride. I mean, that thing was winning MPDs left and right. It was like 34 in a row. And you used to have Greenberg come out and go, "We won for the 34th week in a row. Our Halo 4 outsold every PS3 exclusive this year by itself." You know what I mean? Combined. Like they were like really. Like, man, I kind of missed that part of Microsoft, but I mean, I dig what Phil's doing with the whole power narrative and stuff like that. Like, you can tell that he's definitely on to something, and I'm behind it. Like this stuff, I know, like the tech side or whatever is kind of boring to some people, but for me, like I'm starting to learn it and I'm starting to kind of enjoy it. Like I'm not a PC guy for sure, but learning some of this stuff, like what's in the box, and I think that's maybe a positive of this generation is that we're all kind of you know what I mean, we're all kind of learning a little bit more than we used to, right, She-Wolf? I mean, even you probably are picking up some of this stuff.
No, I try not to.
9 yards.
For how much I hear GKB talk about it, I'm impressed that I don't know more.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, it is exciting. Like I'm excited,
Not
like,
really. Well, maybe to you guys.
She said not really.
Well, it's because, to me, I look at it from just like a standard gamer point of view. I want it to work. I want games that are going to be on it that's going to give me a reason to buy it and play them. Yes, if they look amazing, that is awesome, but I just don't want broken games. I want them to focus on giving me games that do not come out broken right off the shelf. And that's what I care about as a gamer. That is personally what I care about.
Where are you finding all these broken games at, She-Wolf?
Seriously?
Like you playing you going back in time and playing Assassin's Creed Unity over and over, or what?
Great Unity.
Yeah, like hey, I will say this. I was playing Mass Effect Andromeda the other night, and I did a record that, and it was on my if anybody follows me on there or whatever, I put it up there, and it was the funniest fucking thing. I even showed Hollimer. I was like, so I go to kill this thing with a melee, and he just like goes and like evaporates into thin air, and then
but it's not
his
even
eyeballs
like
just stayed there in air, like, after. And it was like he disappeared. Yeah, he evaporated, and then his eyeballs were staying there, and I'm like sitting there walking all around, and you could still see his eyeballs standing there. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah, but see, I was actually playing Mass Effect Andromeda, and I actually took a recording of it where there was characters that were inside the ship, and they were literally like 10 feet off of where they were supposed to be standing. Yeah. They weren't even standing on parts of the ship that they were supposed to be standing on. Yeah. So it's not the only games that have come out broken in the past.
I know, but it's not like every single game is broken, I mean, Andromeda was it's kind of a bad example, right? We know Andromeda.
Yeah, and also the other thing with Andromeda too is that anytime you take an open world game, for the most part, it's kind of a bad example to put it up against, more linear games or whatever the case may be.
Helmer says linear. He says linear.
Yeah. It's also like the day one patch mentality too, and that's usually just to fix a lot of bugs that they were like working on before the game actually released and stuff like that too.
Because G-Wolf, take a bump and join us. He's like,
wait, what?
Maybe his mic isn't loud or something. I don't know. He sounded very low right there. Say something, GKB.
Yo.
Okay, that sounds better. I don't know. Like people's mics are sounding a little bit low tonight, but yeah, I adjusted him.
I think it's you, Crap.
No, hey, it could be me. What do you guys think?
Yeah. He forgot how to turn the volume up on his computer, so he's like, "What the hell is going on?"
He's like 20%.
Only Sea of Thieves is allowed to come with a day one patch.
My headset was turned down a little bit. My bad.
I knew it. It's always the simplest solution.
Hey, it's all good. I do want to talk about a little bit about a game. The Star Wars Battlefront 2 trailer leaked.
Oh shit! Darth Maul, baby.
Wow. Like, to me, this is like what Star Wars Battlefront, the first one, should have been. Again, it's like hype over 1 million. Like, I can understand why people were a little bit turned off by the original Battlefront because it was super rushed, no campaign. There was only one real kind of generation that you could play. It was light on a lot of different things. This one covers multiple eras. It's got heroes from all the eras. It's got a campaign. It looks like it's got a lot of stuff going on for it. I was really impressed with this. It's like you can't keep anything secret nowadays, though. But I watched it before they took it down on the Vimeo thing or whatever. It's supposed
to be dropping this week anyway, though. I think just
on the 15th. Yeah, I mean, this thing leaked some ass hats like, hey, I'm going to be, get 15 minutes of fame and show this thing. Or they don't even get fame really, because I'm sure if they found out who it was, they probably get fired. But absolutely looks phenomenal. It's marketed by Sony. So
yeah,
I mean,
I watched it. It led me to believe that it's a PlayStation exclusive. I'm just saying.
Just because it says that it's on the PlayStation 4 doesn't mean it's a PlayStation exclusive. I mean that's not.
I don't think.
That's definitely not. Yeah, it's not exclusive. Don't fucking lock it in. However, you unlock it right now.
You guys gotta think too. If you watch any game trailer it could be a Battlefield 1. If you watch it on the PlayStation YouTube channel, it's a fucking PlayStation advertised game. So you never know. Like, it might not be the mass commercial. It could be the Sony YouTube channel one that leaked. But hey, maybe they do have a deal. Most likely, actually. Who gives a shit? We know it's going to run better on the Scorpio. Fuck it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right, dealer, because you're on record as saying, like, it don't matter and stuff. But I will say this. Man, wouldn't it have been nice to have them get, like, one big
Dude, we've been talking about this, like, every week, bro.
Market. I know.
I think they got one. Assassin's Creed.
Well, I mean, that's not on the level as Battlefront and Call of Duty, though. I mean,
depends on what they show. It could be,
I don't understand why they didn't take Destiny 2 back, because you see Michael Barra and Phil Spencer all the time on there, like when they're online and stuff. They're always playing Destiny, so I don't understand why they didn't actually try to take that back.
I think it was a multi-year
thing.
Not a multi-year, but a multi-release thing. Yeah. So it wasn't just like one; it was the sequel as well, I believe, and maybe the third one as well.
And you never know. Maybe these guys doctor contracts that say, when the next game comes out, we have the first rights to bid on a particular game too. You never know, right? Like, it could be when it comes out, we get first dibs. If it's a little out of our price range, hand it to the next person. But yeah, they're just buying up everything left, right, and center.
Back to dealer's point, though, I think he's probably right. Like, Microsoft probably got Assassin's Creed, and I think like this year it's probably going to be much bigger than it has in like the yearly release kind of thing that they've been doing. So there's probably going to be a lot of hype behind it. But I kind of agree with Crap too. I don't think it's as big as Destiny and Battlefront.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely not as Destiny or Star Wars. Yeah,
I mean, it's not a multiplayer game, so it's not something that people are going to push. Like, people buy the multiplayer games first, honestly.
But I mean, Vanilla was pretty confident that they've got shit to show. This is what he hammered home in this little podcast on Major Nelson. And we want to kind of remind people that it's not like we don't want more games. Obviously, more power is better. There's no such thing as too much power, in my opinion. But we've all said several times that, hey, they need more studios. They need more things. We need more things in the docket. We need to know more. But Microsoft are doing exactly what we would do. They're not telling us a damn thing until E3.
Yeah, a lot of people just jumping all over like Microsoft right now. They have no games and stuff, but I think they're holding a lot of stuff for E3, and like we might see new studios and new IPs and all that kind of stuff. But we got to give them until E3 to give them the benefit of the doubt.
It's so close. You might as well, right?
It's funny though. This kind of goes back to a conversation that was happening on Console Corner last night with like Crap and Mooch and everybody, where people
shout
want
out to
things.
that. Let's plug that real quick. Crap and Mooch, Mooch and Crap were on Console Corner last night. It was a pretty fun time, man. You guys should go check it out on Gamers Know Best channel after the show, of course. You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead, Sheila. Go ahead.
But it comes back to, you know, everyone wants to say there's no games, but then we know E3 is coming, and say if they are holding back, then they're trying not to like allow leaks to come out, but then people bitch about when the leaks do come out because it was released too early, but then people bitch when they don't come out. So it's kind of one of those, you do like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
You can never win. You can never win 100% in this space. I think
if Microsoft like holds this shit till E3 and doesn't leak anything, I would be fucking surprised. Like I would be like, kudos to you guys.
I would
How
be
pissed
happy
were you
though.
when the X1S leaked like a fucking 12 hours
12
before
hours.
E3?
Hey, I'm trying like a motherfucker to get information. It's tough.
Crap's trying to ruin it. For
I am.
everybody.
I'm trying to ruin it for everybody.
But why bother? Like, that's the point of E3. That's the point of all of us waiting and watching E3 is to see all the excitement that's going to be happening. But yet we all want these leaks so badly, we just ruin it for ourselves.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. It's because Microsoft is so goddamn quiet all the time. Like, they just literally don't talk about anything lately. You know what I mean?
But then it will be a bigger, like, bomb go off when they actually do announce something that's surprising.
I don't think they're gonna do it though.
You know, Mikey Bear already talked about this. Games are coming. You already said it. Like they're doing different things in different stages and getting certain things out of the way.
Yeah.
And they hinted like there's a time and era for doing games, and that's around E3.
Yeah.
Right?
I still think you shouldn't count on any crazy just nuclear bombs that haven't been revealed. Like I said, I think there might be a lull for a year or two where they got a few a year, and you kind of get the best versions of multiplats, and while they're working on all this stuff, right? So
I don't expect any megaton announcements really for game releases. To be honest.
Fable's gonna happen.
I don't think so.
I'm talking about stuff that might come out in this year or next year.
Oh, this year? No. We look, and like as much as I get called damage controller and all this kind of stuff, which I am a little bit. I'm honest about this. We all know what we're getting this year on Xbox. We're getting Crackdown 3, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Forza Motorsport 7. That's what we're getting. That's
Crackdown 3. We really haven't seen anything about that game. Like they showed the multiplayer, and that's about it. Like years ago, like that game could be completely different than what it was. Like
they got a big ass stage.
Well, that's what the guy at the fucking GameStop tried to tell me today. He's like, when we had that little argument, and he tried to tell me there was nothing like exclusive coming out.
Here comes new
friend. Here we go.
And I said,
take us to the end.
What about Forza 7? And he goes, that's not coming out. We don't know that for sure. And I'm like, give me a break, man. You know, Forza 7 is coming. It's pretty much
your watch by that
every
shit.
second year. It's like, what the hell? Like, that's how idiots these guys are in there. But anyway, that's a story for another time. I don't need to beat that to death. So,
so basically, you're just saying it's the same shit that's been happening for 3 years.
Oh yeah, it's the same fucking shit, man. Same shit.
Yeah, I totally get that. But let me just go back to the Star Wars thing real quick, because I know I don't know who in this room bought that game, the first one, but judging from the trailer,
I bought half of the first one.
Half of the first.
It wasn't that funny. Holy shit!
I know, but no,
To be honest with you.
I fucking get it because it's like they did. They sold you like half of
Hey,
it.
I want to call this Battlefront 2. I'll call it Star Wars Battlefront Complete Edition. That's what I'm
Yeah, exactly.
I spent an extra $20 to get that fucking that gun, the Han Solo gun.
Oh, geez.
I did
fucking
too.
overpowered ass gun.
Yeah. Hey, but for that first week or whatever, man, you were one-shotting
You were
people with
just
that fucking
God,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, you were amazing. In fact, I got some gameplay footage of that first week, and people think I'm good at the game. They're like, I seen that footage, Crap, you're going around and winning everybody. I'm like, damn right, man. It's just me with that fucking gun. Pew, pew. It was awesome.
Yeah, the DL-44.
DL-44 is fucking badass. But like GKB specifically, like you're a big Star Wars fan. She will apparently hate Star Wars, which is a strike against her.
She's on the hater radar
Oh
right now.
damn! What the hell did that happen?
I don't know. That's weird, isn't it?
Seriously, guys? Seriously, when did that happen? I've never been a fan of Star Wars. Or Star.
Have you watched them?
She's like Star Wars or Star Trek.
I think I
I
watched.
try, bro. I try. I really do.
2 of them, maybe.
What?
I watched the new one. Does that count?
Did you not like it?
I like
There's
the
only
new
so
one.
many frying pans to the face that I could take.
I like
bro.
the new one, but I don't like the old one.
But GKB, you'd be interested in getting this new one, right? Like this new Battlefront. It seems much more complete.
Yeah, like from the trailer and everything we saw, like I totally like the prequels. Like you, I thought they were really good too. Like Darth Maul's like awesome. I can't wait to see that kind of stuff. Play him like maybe in the multiplayer and all that kind of stuff. I didn't pick up the first one, man, because it just didn't have everything, and I thought it was too casual and all that kind of stuff. Everything we've already talked about multiple times in podcasts and stuff before. But I think it's gonna fucking sell phenomenally. It's gonna probably double what it did the first one because of all the new content. And everybody wants that campaign. I'm excited for that, man, and see where it's going. What kind of offshoot or something that they're gonna do.
I don't know, bro. The first one did like fucking 10 million.
I don't know, man.
No, it did 15 million.
Did it really?
Yeah, it was like 15
million.
Dude, it's Star Wars. I'm telling you, bro. You can shit on a fucking table and look like Han Solo and sell that shit, dude. I'm telling you.
Hold on, but people also thought they were getting a full game too, though.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like they didn't go into this thinking that, oh, hey, we're only gonna get
like
this.
They're gonna show that trailer on fucking the 15th, and people are gonna fucking lose their shit. They're gonna shit their pants, piss themselves, and everything else, and they're fucking pre-ordering that day.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because like the games that are like Star Wars or Call of Duty or any of that stuff. They're like, well, how much shit people like to talk, like versus like Call of Duty, right?
Yeah. There may be a lot of them, but I still think some people are going to be cautious when this game releases.
Until they see the trailer on 15th.
Yeah, I mean, the way I think the trailer, it was trending yesterday. Like people were super excited about it. It's fixing all the problems. It's like they rushed out the first one to meet that game, to meet the movie, right? Mm-hmm. And this one is actually going to be the good one. It's like they probably had some kind of B team working on that content the whole time, and then they had the A team working on the actual full game, sort of like Titanfall 2. But hopefully, I'm thinking this is, since it's Star Wars attached to it, that it's going to have a much better kind of reaction and things like that. I would expect it to do well. I'm just hoping Sony don't slap that Darth Vader on the PS4 Pro this year.
And to Dealer's point too, like, you know, he was saying, like, you know, he bought the half a game, and that's absolutely true. But
it is right. That's why I laughed.
They fucking nailed Star Wars. Like it was fucking Star Wars to the T, and I'll give them that. And it looks like this game's gonna be the same thing. It's just more.
Yeah. I hope it was, but. Well, it's funny because you bought the game, or I spent $80 to get the fucking extra pistol, whoop-de-doo, and then they're like $50 for the maps, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? $50? Yeah. That's almost the price of the base game."
Darth Vader. Okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah, it's sold well, but the servers dropped off pretty quick. I'd say about the first month in, like the numbers dropped drastically. So
they went through the 3 maps and unlocked the 6 guns, and they were done. No, it had more than that, but it was severely lacking. The guns all looked identical almost, just in a different shape of a different type of dick. You know, it's just, I don't know, man. It was definitely, it needed something, right? It needed to be
complete. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that was missing. I hope they bring in like the Jedi battles and that sort of thing, like they had on Battlefront 2 back on the PS2 and original Xbox and PC.
Yeah. Hey, we got over 500 watching. Please hit the like button. It helps us out tremendously, and I would appreciate it. Shows that you guys like the show and all that good stuff. I want to move on to another game-related thing, and this is something that I kind of threw in late. So the Quantum Break devs, Remedy, they have done mostly Xbox stuff to this point, right? Like for the most part.
Quantum Break's going up PS4, bro. It's done. It's
exactly. Okay. So basically, I get it, right? Like that's what all these, like, I'm seeing all these articles now. They're like, Remedy Games making multi-platform games, including PS4, and they got like a picture of Quantum Break, right?
So we knew this forever ago, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how is this a thing, right? Like Microsoft. And I said this on Console Corner. Oh no! Now who's going to make the mediocre, poor-reviewed games that nobody's going to buy on Xbox? You know what I mean? Like, I like the games. I thought Alan Wake and Quantum Break were awesome, but at the same time, I can understand why Microsoft wasn't eager to like sign up with them to do another game exclusively because it
definitely wasn't. It wasn't Xbox's fault that it didn't sell. We've seen games sell 5 million in 3 months on Xbox. Yeah. I've said this before. I thought Quantum Break had its strong points, but I thought it was around a 7 or a 7.5, which isn't bad, right? That's considered a good game if you look at the scale. It's just it wasn't fucking amazing, right?
Yeah,
in my opinion, of course. So.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was great, but again, I'm a homer. So it's like, I pretty much, I'm like, wow, this Xbox, except for, there's a couple Xbox games where I'm like, oh, well, that's not really my thing or whatever, you know. But for the most part, I like that game. Recore is a game like that. I like Recore, but you know, the tediousness of finding the cores later on was really annoying. Yeah. Like because I'm you know, I suck at that kind of stuff. Oh well, so go find this and go get the cores and this, and then I was like, you know, like the backtracking and stuff, like that kind of annoyed me. Like I could see them. I like.
Plus the platforming parts. That probably killed you.
I'm a great platformer, dude. I'm the best. I am the best fucking platformer person on this panel. Been platforming since.
Well, we want to see you streaming Voodoo Vins, man. You got to do it.
Oh man,
when does that come out?
That comes out in like a week.
Really?
Oh shit, does it?
Yeah, the 21st. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Pass.
Is it on the store already? Is it on the store for pre-order?
No, not yet.
That's weird.
Yeah, not yet. But hopefully it will be soon because I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, I know. Like people are like big deal. I'm not saying it's a big deal. I'm just saying I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Just like the game.
Cool. So looks fun, man.
Yeah.
You like what you like.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's supposed to be cheap. Isn't it like $20 or something like that?
$14.99.
$14.99. Yeah.
GKB, go ahead and Zelda, bro. Okay.
Huh?
Go ahead and
Yeah.
Zelda.
Go ahead and Zelda.
I never played the original. I heard it was $15. I feel like that's a pretty decent price.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll pick it up.
I mean, look, it's a game that there's not a lot. There's not a lot of those platformer games out right now on on consoles currently. So
speaking of platformers, Hellhammer, have you tried Snake Pass? It's pretty interesting. It's a physics-based navigation puzzler.
Yeah,
it's a good.
It seems like really kiddie, but it has its challenges, and there's nothing else out there like it.
Yeah, it gets kind of difficult.
Annoying.
You got to use that left trigger, She-Wolf. You got to.
Hey, She-Wolf, maybe that was the problem because I was watching She-Wolf's gameplay and she was like really, really bad at it.
Wow.
She was looking at the OBS screen.
Okay, yeah. So the gameplay that you first saw me like playing it when you were watching Ladies Night, I was literally watching my OBS instead of my actual Xbox screen, and so that's why there was a delay. Because I had them both the same size, so I wasn't really watching the main screen. I didn't even.
I saw you falling off the thing a lot, so I was like,
that's because I got annoyed. I got so triggered because he didn't want to freaking stick to where he was supposed to, so I literally just like took the bird and threw him off the freaking cliff.
Yeah,
you know that you control the snake, right?
Yeah. I know that.
He won't.
Still annoying.
No, I agree. Like that is something like I'm not a big indie guy or anything like that, but that is a game that I actually kind of enjoy. You know what I mean? Like it's just like a good, it's a different game. Another game that I picked up was that Power Rangers game. Is a classic kind of beat 'em up.
Fox is pissed about that, bro, because it's couch co-op and
it's couch and not like multiplayer. Yeah, like I didn't realize that. So it was one of them damn things that kind of took me by surprise because it makes sense that it would be multiplayer.
I agree, man. Like,
yeah, you would think so because it's such a divide now between that with multiplayer games. Like they're either like they require you to have multiple consoles or be online to play it, or they're couch co-op basically.
If it's a small budget game, you expect it to be couch co-op, not online, because I just have
that was Bandai. That was like a tie-in, like right before the movie release and stuff like that, though. So you would figure that they would, kind of do a better job with that, in my opinion.
Do they sell hard copy or is it just digital?
It's just digital. It's like a $15 game. But again, it's a multiplayer. Like it should be because there's like 4 or 5 characters you can be. And it's like it's like the Ninja Turtles game from back in the day, kind of like that, the beat 'em up side scrolling or whatever. So you would figure that it would kind of be more tailored to.
I mean, they had enough money to get the Power Rangers license in the year 2017, where Microsoft offer free servers for online, right? So
I mean, look, and that's the other thing too, right? Like those Turtles games when they remade them for the 360, like years and years ago, they had online multiplayer.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's fucking kind of Power Rangers. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm just saying, it would have been cool to that would have been a good game to kind of co-op or whatever. But slightly going back to the Quantum Break developer remedy thing, people are acting like it's the end or this huge blow to Microsoft. I don't really see it that way. I just more or less see it as a developer who hasn't really reached their potential as far as what they could do and as far as their games take, because Alan Wake was apparently a long, kind of tedious, expensive game to produce, and so was Quantum Break. And now everybody's talking about this new game. And I also find it funny that a lot of the Sony fans are like, yeah, man, I can't wait to get Remedy's new game on PS4. It's going to be great. And it's just like, you guys totally shit on every game they've done that's on Xbox, and now you're like excited for a game to come to your platform. Like, come on, like, you know, that's.
I mean,
you're totally right about that, because when I not to bring this back up again, but when I was in GameStop, EB Games today, having that argument again, the guy, when he was basically shitting on lack of Xbox exclusives, he made a point of telling me how Remedy was now making a game for the PS4, but he was saying how Remedy was now exclusive to the fucking under Sony, and I think he got those facts screwed up somewhere. They might be making a game for the PS4, but I don't recall anybody Sony signing them as an exclusive dev. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
Yeah, they're not exclusive. Whatever they're doing is going to be on Xbox as well, so that's not really. Yeah,
but my point is, he was getting pretty fucking excited about it. But you know, it wasn't too long ago that a lot of these same people were shitting all over Remedy for Quantum Break and saying how bad this game was, and is that the best Microsoft?
Even though they never played it, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, look, but I mean, even back on the PS3 days, they begged for Alan Wake on that.
Yeah, well, they swore it was coming. Oh,
yeah.
Alan Wake's gonna come. They even thought that Quantum Break was gonna come over to it eventually. Like, whenever Microsoft has a exclusive, if it's not like a first party deal, they swear up and down. They thought Gears for the longest time was coming. I can remember. You guys remember that? Like, they used to have like the little.
I remember that.
Like the Gears collection coming to PS4, PS3, or whatever it was, and then there was that tweet that the head of Epic tweeted Yoshida. They said, you need to play more Gears, and people were like, it's definitely coming to PlayStation. And then it was like a week later, Phil Spencer's like, no, we bought the IP.
Well, here's the thing, like, they do a little article and say, hey, we're porting the engine over to PS4. Everybody freaks out and all this other kind of stuff. But here's the real deal. Like, just like Titanfall, y'all wanted that too on the PlayStation. You got it, and you didn't buy it. You didn't play it. And the same thing's going to happen with Remedy games. They're going to make it, and they're not going to buy it and play it. So
that is a great damn point, GKB. Like,
they'll be busy buying Deho 2 and all those weird games, Persona 6 by then. And
Persona games, they take like 10 years to make or something like that, right? Like, I mean, I don't know.
No, it's some kind of crap to it.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting. Like, those games aren't my particular game, but I guess, you know, you got to give credit where it's due. Supposedly that's like the best-selling one or whatever. So I mean, you know, props to that. I've never been one to say I want to see games fail. You know what I mean? Like, that's not me.
It's sold well. I mean, 60 million PS4s and 80-something million PS3s. I mean, it's going to do all right, right? So
yeah, oh yeah, that's true, right? It's also on PS3, which has a large install base as well. So I mean, that could, and they say they shipped 1.5 million or whatever. So I mean, that's who knows? But I've never really been one to say, hey, I hope a game fails or does bad. I poked fun at stuff in a hyperbolic type of way sometimes. Like when Horizon Zero Dawn sold 2.6 million in 2 weeks, and I was like, "That's it." I mean, if people don't realize that that's you know, a certain, yeah, like, you know what I mean. Like, it is a lot, but still, when you consider 60 million, like, maybe that's not like
some of these guys. They are really anti-consumer. Like, they literally want one company to flop over the other. It's like, if either of these flop, we're all getting fucked right in the eye.
Exactly.
You do not want that to happen.
Yes, you don't want one company dictating what happens to all. Just saying, you want the competition. Like, if there's no competition, then you know, we lose. That's the bottom line.
I get having fun with the console where shit like fuck Sony and blah blah blah. Like, I get it, but if you're serious about it, like in your own head, then you know, there's something you gotta think about.
Yeah, because we all went back in the day, like Atari, when Atari owned the business there, and you had like no quality assurance on your games, and your games cost, you know, triple the price because there's no competition. That would be great.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it kind of is what it is. I'm digging the competition because look, Microsoft has really stepped up thanks to the competition. You know, Sony's winning, but Microsoft has done a fucking fantastic job of kind of stepping up and combating them by listening to what the fans want. And one of the things that they actually listened to, what people were asking for was the self refund option.
Good
right?
Segue.
Yes. Self-refunding, in case you guys didn't know, this is something for like preview members like tier 4 or whatever it is. And basically what this does is if you buy a game digitally on Xbox One or Windows 10, whatever, we're just going to say Xbox One. If you buy a game digitally on Xbox One and you play it for less than 2 hours, or it's within the first 2 weeks, you can get a refund for that game. Absolutely. Like no questions asked. Yep. So like say you bought Watch Dogs 1, within the first hour, you know that game's shit. I would have refunded that too. You know what I mean? I'd be like, give me my money back. You know, like that shit happens. You know, like so I think that is something that people are asking for. And it was so funny because when I saw this, I'm seeing like, you know, you see it at the normal sites and you're reading the comments and they're overwhelmingly like good. Like I'm like, finally, there's something that people can't complain about. Maybe you guys saw some like somebody spin it, but I saw nobody spinning it.
No,
and I was like,
no spinning it. That's why you saw none.
Yeah, exactly.
But so is it depending on how much you complete a game? Like, is that
2 hours? If you put more than 2 hours into it, you can't refund it.
Well, no, it's just there is some indie games that people can beat in under an hour. So could they just technically beat it and then return it? Because then that kind of defeats the whole entire purpose.
I mean,
I guess, unfortunately. So, I mean, I'm sure that's going to be some sort of feedback they're going to look at. I would hope so.
There's a reason it's in preview, right?
Yeah. There's going to be loopholes in it for sure, but it's a definite step in the right direction. I like where they're going with that. And like you said, it might even encourage more game sales because people now won't be as afraid to spend their money on a game they're not sure they might not like anymore. So that could technically encourage more sales. Yeah, it might mean more refunds, but then it's highly likely the person getting the refund may go back to the store and spend that, you know, $40-50 or something on a different title. So kudos to Microsoft, man. That is a bold and awesome move, step in the right direction. But yeah, I'm sure that's an article that will slide under the radar pretty quickly here.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing, like for Gamers On and pro consumer. Like it's absolutely like it's going to protect you from like mismarketing and all that kind of stuff. No Man's Sky, games like that.
Where's Sean Murray? I don't know if you guys seen that on Twitter. That was pretty funny.
You know, one thing people need to know though: DLC, season pass, and add-ons are not eligible for this. Yeah. And you want to hear?
Well, if you're buying a DLC, you probably play through the whole.
Here comes the spin.
Yeah, you want to hear an interesting factor of this? It says the Gamer app must be downloaded and launched before requesting a self-service refund. You must wait for at least 1 day after the game or app's release before requesting a self-service refund as well.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, so
you actually got to play the fucking thing.
Yeah, it's basically, I mean, they can take a lot of cues from Steam as well on that because Steam has been doing that for quite a bit of time. So I mean, it's not that it's very consumer friendly, and it's nice that they have that, especially since they have a major influx of indie titles that's coming through and the game previews and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
hey, you know what? This might help me. This might be a good idea to try out indie games if you wanted to try them, right? Like you pretty much know when you buy one. You're like, oh, this sucks pretty much right away. Like, I'm not going to beat an indie. Like, I'm sure some people might abuse the program. But for me, if I buy a game and I'm like, this game sucks, I'm going to get my refund. You know what I mean? I think that's a great idea. Also, I'm just going to say, you could look at this as a... Yeah, well, yeah. I came terrible. You could look at this as another enticement angle to lure some PC gamers over when Scorpio comes out, because it's very Steam-like. And I know people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that, but there are going to be PC gamers that hop on the Scorpio train because it is very powerful. It's going to be, you know, offer a lot of cool things. And this is one of them. I think that it's very Steam-like, like I said, and I think that that's something that people maybe haven't thought of yet.
Hey, the most refunded game on Steam is No Man's Sky, so...
Yeah. You're right though, because I get comments all the time. Like, I got a GTX 780, blah blah blah, and I'm gonna get a Scorpio, and obviously Scorpio crushes that card. But you get what I'm saying? A lot of PC gamers that are a couple generations back, they say, "Fuck it, we get a console." Yeah, and Hellhammer was right when he's talking about indies, because remember they just announced that no certification, basically get your game on Xbox shit.
I do have to say though, like. I do have to say, like, with what they're adding into it is actually a great feature. And one of the things that I have to say I like the most is as soon as you open up your Xbox Insider program, it says right off the bat, you know, you've spoken, we've listened in support of offering gamers the freedom of choice. Like that is what we want as gamers. We want to be able to know what we are buying is worth what we are paying for. So to give us this option, one, this is kind of screwing over GameStop, because if you can just buy digital games and return, like get a full refund after trying it, you pretty much have no need to waste money returning games to GameStop for like half of what
once you open that in like the big box stores, man, you can't even take it back.
We can do the TikTok thing that Crap does for GameStop, because they're fucked. It's a matter of time.
Oh yeah,
it is. Unfortunately, they're fighting a battle that 60 Minutes style.
Yes.
They're fighting a battle that cannot be won, and that's a battle versus digital. I don't see a way out of this for them at all, unless they take massive losses and stop paying their executives a lot in order to give you more and save you more, right? Yeah, that's the only way out of this. And even then,
here's the thing with GameStop too, right? Like they don't even offer great things anymore when you pre-order. Like I've been doing digital stuff for a little bit now, so and when you pre-order digitally on Xbox Live, you get like I think like $9-10 in credit when you do that each time. So like today I had some credit pop up, boom, buy some deals from that spring sale that they have going on right now. You know what I mean? It goes reinvested into the ecosystem or whatever.
Is that why I get money from them? Do you really get paid for pre-ordering?
Yeah.
Yes, you pre-order digitally.
Rewards member. It depends on
the. It's like $9 or $10
for pre-ordering.
Wow.
Mass Effect. He got money back.
Yeah. That's probably what it was.
Why the fuck do they keep sending me money in this Microsoft account?
Yeah, but like 1 month? Like,
I do have to say, though, I will give GameStop credit for one thing. I will give GameStop credit for one thing, though, is the fact that their Destiny pre-order was actually pretty cool. But
yeah, because you like Destiny and Nathan Fillion, so you're like, hell yeah, I'm gonna go get that.
Well, yes.
I wonder if we could drive the ships.
Yeah,
I want to fly the ships
in the load stream.
You know, Microsoft also adds in their self refund thing. Though they say Microsoft has the right to block access to any user who abuses this service, so they will be watching it. And
if you do it a lot, you will be flagged, I'm sure.
Well, I think it's important though, because they opened the whole ID at Xbox thing like a little bit more wide open as far as the doors go and getting games onto the platform even more so. You have to have something to protect the customer on that, right? Because anyone can release crap and put it on the way it's how it's currently set up. So I think this is more or less essential, and it's also tied with that quite a bit.
I can see a guy like Randall Thor buying like 40 or 50 games a week, racking up as many achievements as he can in 2 hours and returning them.
Yeah, I think he actually gets a lot of those smaller indie games sent to him anyway. So
yeah, well, he's the when you got 1 million gamer score. I mean, it's easy to get that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you can just kind of request that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely could see that happening. Yeah. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit about Microsoft's, like you were talking about earlier. Albert Pinello was talking about E3 because people all of a sudden are like, "Where's the games, Microsoft? You got this powerful console, but you got no games." And you got a powerful console, guys, but no games.
Well, like you said they want this thing to launch with something. It's like it will launch like Forza 7. Like I said, day and date, I guarantee it. And secondly, the Pro, like you said, didn't have any launch games either. Like specifically, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of a similar situation here.
Yeah, you know what? Agreed. Like, and it's very frustrating. I'm sure you guys have picked up on it too. The whole no games narrative. For the main reason being is, and I said, like, Hellheimer was trolling me earlier today, and I almost fell for it. And he's like, because he was using this shit, and I said, and I was just like, dude, it's called every fucking game that there is, like the Red Dead 2, the Battlefront 2s, the Call of Duty World War 2s, the fucking Assassin's Creed, the Splinter Cells, the Forza. You know what I mean? Like all the games. Like they have all of them. It's like I look at my fucking pins and like there's so many games that come out. Like I know people are like, well, it's supposed to be a LOL or whatever, but it's literally like Mass Effect and then like Yooka-Laylee, and like there's multi-platform games. I'm not saying that Microsoft shouldn't do more because I think they can, but I'm just saying that they're getting a bad rap for this whole no games narrative, and it's just complete and utter bullshit.
No games.
Like I said in a recent podcast, man, I think you'll see a lot of those third-party games that aren't on Xbox and are only on PlayStation. I think you'll see those head over here, right? That's why Phil went to Japan and stuff. If you're into those, hey, more power to you. And really, I wanted to bring up an old memory of that guy. He's like, "Hey man, are you sure these games going to be 4K textures? What are you pulling out of your ass? Can you tell?" Like, and I said, "Be more specific, bitch," because this stuff is being confirmed as we speak. All these high resolution textures for all these games, Gears and Forza, all this stuff. We don't just pull a lot of this shit out of our asses, right? So, I mean, in terms of games, you're going to get more from especially the third parties like Killing Floor 2. That's coming over, right? Just an example. Yeah. Nothing like Horizon or nothing like that, but the third party stuff that isn't over here, you're going to get more and more as time goes on.
And you also keep seeing more and more games that were PC exclusive coming over. We have City Skylines coming out in about a week or two.
Oh, throw it on the list.
Yeah, man. Conan Exiled or whatever. Stu, if you played that game a little bit on PC, what do you think of that?
It's interesting. I do definitely I needed a better graphic card, obviously, because there was something not working properly when I was playing it. Like, everything was so slow.
Yes.
You might need an NVIDIA card so you can use some PhysX on that.
Yeah.
Well,
she couldn't find it.
You got any feedback on the dong slider?
Yeah. She's like, she goes, I can't find it. And I was like, it's called endowment. That's what it was called on the slider.
I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's what they named it. I was like, okay. Yeah. But overall, like, the game wasn't that bad. But, like, when you first start, you're literally just in a desert. Like, that's it. So you definitely have to work towards finding where you need to be. It's a lot like Ark for anyone who's played that. So it's still interesting. I'm not saying that, it's a fail. It's definitely a game I'm going to try again to see if it's any better, but overall, I don't know. It's not really. I'm not big on survival games like that.
Yeah, I can't get into those games. There's so many survival games and like clone after clone on PC. It's ridiculous and it's just awful.
Yeah,
you know what? For those waves, though, I mean that's pretty normal for them.
Yeah.
Just going back to Pinello's kind of statement. I think that people, I guess, are a little bit worried, and I get that. But the problem is that Microsoft has done a really good job, in my opinion, of getting games out now. Like, all the games that Sony was getting credit for early on, like the indies and stuff, those have all come to Xbox, and now we're going to probably see even more third-party games go to Xbox, like you were saying, Dealer, like the Japanese games.
For the record, like how many Sony made exclusives have hit PlayStation this year?
Sony made PlayStation, Guerrilla Games made Horizon Zero Dawn, and that might be.
I think the rest were third party, right?
Yeah, well, you had Sega do
not 100%, but I'm just saying, like, almost all these games are pretty much third party, and that's the stuff I'm talking about. There's been one on each side from the first party perspective, to my knowledge. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, that could. I don't know who made Gravity Rush. I'm not sure if that was first party or third or second, but yeah, I see exactly where you're going with that, and you're right. We got and then there's going to be here's the thing also, like, you notice how people are like, man, I can't wait for that Crash remaster, it's going to be great. And then when you bring up Voodoo Vince that you might be excited for, that nobody wants that fucking Voodoo Vince, it's just a remaster. Who cares? Well, Crash versus Voodoo, you can't, honestly, we can't really put those two against each other. Crash or is even a lot more iconic, right? Or Paul Rapper the Rapper. You know what I mean? Like, I get it there, yeah.
Voodoo Vince is getting a second chance at life because that was a really good game, essentially, on a console that didn't really have the big established base. It was, like a lot of old Xbox games didn't really find a home because not a lot of people knew the Xbox brand back in the day. Not everybody had an Xbox. That one didn't sell near as well as the PlayStation 2. So, like, and plus the fact that they're not just bringing a straight up port, like it's got some up-res textures and it's not the direct copy of the game. So that's kind of nice. And like I said, platformers, they're not like a dime a dozen anymore. Like it just gives people more things to play. You don't want to buy it, that's fine. I get how it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think it's going to be a decent little game, and it'll be a good family game, something you can play with your kids. It looks pretty good. He's like the original Sackboy. I think it's good things. And I just wanted to say this last thing. Best freaking quote all week, man. Albert Pinello. I don't care how you spin it, but is that thing, our console doesn't need boost mode. Our whole console is fucking boost mode.
Well, he's 100% right. They found a way to use that thing.
Yeah, a little bit for that or something like that as well.
Well, yeah. So people are like, "Oh, you're taking shots," and he's like, "It's not a shot. It's like everybody is so safe space or whatever nowadays, right? Like, you can't say anything. How is it okay for Sony to do a schmarmy ass video about how you share your game? and that's fine, and everybody loves it, right? Woo, yeah, Sony, go. And then when Microsoft goes out and they're confident and they're like, hey, we don't need a boost mode. Our console is boost mode, bitches.
And he's not lying, though. It's 100% fact.
People only like the crap that speaks to their narrative, though, right? So it's like the whole share the thing. Like, that was when everybody was all fucking basically deriding Sony for coming in after that and cleaning up their DRM issues and everything like that, that they were going to have the same exact thing.
Oh, you can't convince those people of that, though. Like,
and that was genius, though. You know, after Yoshida did that interview where he said, hey, the DRM is up to the developers, and then they backed out all that shit. And then they did that commercial, which you can Google that interview, actually. It's a really good interview. That commercial was just fucking, in the terms of marketing, the timing, right? You got to give them props, because if Microsoft would have did that in the roles are reversed, they'd be like, holy shit, like the guy who thought about doing this at this exact time needs a raise.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's so interesting to see how people turn things around with the tinfoil hats. Like I'm so happy that early on, like in this generation, I was like, you guys do notice that there's like some journalistic bias and people are kind of anti-Xbox right now. And people thought we were crazy, like absolutely crazy. And then like within, I would say this year specifically, I've gotten so many messages and comments from people that go, man, crap, you guys were right. You know, there is obviously some bias going on. And the perfect example of this is this Kotaku guy who was tweeting out and basically accused Microsoft of paying off Digital Foundry for a positive Scorpio reveal, right? And the reason why he said this was because they paid for Microsoft to come out and like paid for their hotel and all that kind of stuff.
Kotaku blacklisted from Microsoft, as far as I heard.
They're blacklisted from quite a few different things too, like Ubisoft as well blacklisted them.
So they're hurt because they can't act professional enough to get
obviously. I mean, did he accuse them of being paid by Sony with the Pro and all that shit, right?
Nope. He blocked people for bringing that up because Sony, in case you guys didn't know, same type of situation, right? When they did the Pro, they brought out Digital Foundry, paid for everything, accommodations and stuff like that, as you do. Anytime you invite someone over who's your guest, you pay for it. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You know, so I just thought that was hilarious that he's trying to spin that narrative like Microsoft is trying to pay him off.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That whole thing is just a bunch of shit anyways, right? Like Digital Foundry, whether you love them or you hate them or whatever, right? They've always been pretty on the ball with what they do. I mean, Microsoft would have had, even if it would have, I hope if Microsoft paid them, that it was quite a bit of money for them to throw out their reputation out the window, basically, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, well, go ahead.
They kind of strong-armed him into the situation, though, right? They made him like, all right, you guys are going to call yourselves legit. Here's what we got, and we give you the full story and see what you guys can do with that, right? Because if they did anything contrary to what Microsoft presented to them and information comes out later, basically it discredits Digital Foundry of what they're built on. So I mean, they kind of forced them into that situation to just tell the truth. And I'm not a big fan of Digital Foundry myself personally, but you know, that's how you handle some of these media outlets. You strong arm them to tell the actual truth and present the truth to them. Otherwise their credibility goes out the window.
Yeah. Well, the thing that kind of bugs me about it is I might be like, maybe you guys have picked up on this as well, but Microsoft kind of flipped the script on the media, right? Like they're like, hey, we see what's happening here. You know, so what they did was they took a media source that is going to be there for the foreseeable future, because regardless of what happens to like the mainstream gaming media, whether they all close down due to YouTubers and stuff like that, like really doing a much better job than they are. So no matter what, but Digital Foundry will have a spot because people will always want to see how these games perform pitted up against each other, right? Mm-hmm. That's just a fact. They'll want to. So Microsoft, what they did was impress the hell out of this group that probably isn't really huge Xbox fans to begin with, but the fact that they were so impressed with the Scorpio says a lot. You know what I mean? And they kind of gave the cold shoulder to the mainstream media. I mean, you look at who got the interview with Gamematsu or whatever that is. Like that's
with the
Gamematsu.
Yeah. No, hold on. What is it? Gamatsu?
Gamasutra.
Gamasutra, sorry, my bad, guys.
Yeah,
whatever.
You butchered that name up.
Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, so I mean, whatever.
Sounds like a villain in fucking Power Rangers.
It's a developer site, just so you guys know.
Exactly. So that's more like you see how they're skipping over the regular mainstream media sites, though, and just more or less using like the tech sites so that they can't spin what they're trying to do.
I wouldn't go as far as to say Microsoft are shafting the mainstream media. They're going to the people they should go to because performance is more important than it's ever been to people. And even this idiot who said they might have paid him off or implied something like that, the results spoke for themselves. This thing is running extremely well. They compared it to cards that are very expensive and more powerful theoretically, and this thing is competing, and that's great. We're not saying it's more powerful than a 1070 or any of that shit. We're just saying it is competing. There's something good going on here, and you don't need to pay anyone off to say, oh, this is the FPS and this is the settings, and they show the shit, right?
But I don't have to worry about that. I have a GTX 1080. The GTX 1080 murders it still. Yeah, $600 card for just the card.
Well, that card's like $450 now, I think. But
it's $450
either way,
now,
if you're a PC guy, play the games on PC. You know, if you're a console guy, be excited for the console. But if you're a PC guy, don't worry about it. Why are you even watching? Like, that's my question.
Yeah.
If you don't like the Scorpio, if you're not excited, you're just into PC only, you know, then stick to it and play their games. That's why they put them there. They want you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, look, if you are just exclusively a PC gamer, you should be excited for this anyways, because this is pushing shit faster towards your hardware.
Yep. Well, see,
it's going to help in the future. That's for sure.
The only thing this is all really done at the end of the day is that Microsoft came out with one hell of a product, and they can't disclose that. Like you said, they sent it to the proper source. They sent it to someone who traditionally has broken down the technology bit by bit, frame by frame, that sort of thing. And Microsoft, basically what they're doing right now as well is they're also exposing the level of hypocritism, if that's even a word.
Hypocritism, a good one.
Hypocritism. They're exposing that level of hypocrisy.
Learning with Noof.
By basically exposing these articles for what they are. You know, if I tell you I can make a car that goes 300 miles an hour and I live up to that hype and it actually does 300 miles an hour, there's really not much you can say about it, right? So if you make an article the next day and say, well, Noof Nukem is completely full of shit. His car, nobody needs a car that goes 300 miles an hour. Like, that's kind of what they're doing. So they're exposing that for what it is. I mean, that whole article that said earlier this week, what was it? Nobody asked for Scorpio. No, I don't remember any fans specifically saying, guys, bring us out a mid-gen upgrade. But at the same time, nobody asked for the PS4 Pro either. I got a lot of friends who have a PlayStation 4, and I don't recall any of them on any point in time going, hey, you know, Noof, this PS4, man, looks like a piece of fucking shit. Like, we really need an upgrade here, like, and soon. Nobody asked for PS4 Pro, but you know what? They're damn well asking for PS5 now, aren't they? What does that tell you? Like, that they are fucking scared because this system legitimately leaps over PS4 Pro, and that whole article was just so bullshit. It doesn't ask for it, but they did technically ask for it in without asking for it, because what they did, like I said, they controlled the narrative for the last 3 or 4 years by constantly ragging time in, time out about versions of Xbox games that didn't hit those targets, 1080p, or it fell below 30 frames a second, or whatever it was. So, you know, this is Microsoft's way, like I said, of stepping up to the plate, and boy, have they ever stepped up to the plate. And I'm telling you guys, E3, they're not going for a third base fucking hit here, boys. They're going for a home fucking run. I guarantee it. Mark my words.
You know, Noof, more than anyone, the media asked for the Scorpio with all their bullshit, all their clicky 900p versus 1080, and that was perpetuated by the fanboy wars. Yep. The media is directly responsible for this, so they've blown this out of proportion. And if that headline where no one asked for PS4 Pro, or why Sony's history is going to lead the Pro into failure, if you know, that would be complete outrage, and there would be petitions and who knows what else. So,
well, yeah, I mean,
switch the foot there, you know.
More to that, the developers have asked for more powerful hardware. They have.
Yeah, they always do, right?
So when they said, "Hey, this is the We Heard You console," that wasn't just a message to the end user, the gamer itself. That was the developers as well.
Exactly.
So you know, people tend to forget that. Like, I mean, if he was really a true journalist and talked to developers, he would know that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're a developer, Don. So I mean, you would know. Like, just so you guys know, I guess we can talk about the some of this stuff that came out in this
Dev kits.
Gama Sutra article. That's how you say it, right?
Close. We'll go with
Close.
it though.
Okay, we'll go with it. Sorry. Yuck. I'm just a hillbilly here. I don't know how to pronounce words. Yeah, so anyway, just so you guys know, there's some interesting stuff with what they're doing with these dev kits. Specifically, is the dev kits are more powerful and have more stuff in them than the actual retail. And so, like, okay, there's 44 compute units rather than 40 on the dev kits. And apparently this is like at a high level, it's much easier for game developers to come in on a higher level and then tune it down as opposed to coming in lower and then tuning up.
Well, that's how games are made though. Like every art asset is a much higher, I mean, really high end. Like, I'm actually going to do a video on this. I'm going to do one of my models and show how high end a model is and what it's reduced to for a game. But yeah, everything starts at really high end and it gets whittled down. So having that additional overhead is huge.
This is no different from any other dev kit ever. The dev kits always pretty much have more RAM or something that gives it more of an advantage. So, you know, I don't know why anyone would say anything negative about it, but for those that know, dev kits have always been traditionally a little bit more powerful and have more storage as well for development needs. And we need to get something out of the way real quick before we continue. The looks of the thing, right? This is not the final look. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's in an Xbox One S body with a different underpinning. Now, half of that console is an LED display at the bottom. You know this thing is not going to look anything like that. This is for development purposes. You can see live resources being spent on the console, what frame rate you're at, everything right there. And like I said, this is custom made for developers, and the final console will probably look quite a bit different, but still kind of similar to the S.
Well, to that form factor, they purposely made the form factor so you can stack them on top of one another. So I don't know if very many consumers are going to buy 5 or 6 Xbox One Scorpios and just stack them on top of one.
You will still be able to because it doesn't have any top vents or side vents, right? So
I think they will have some additional venting because if you want to be able to put it up vertically, you're blocking off the majority of the ventilation for the APU. So I think they're going to have some additional venting, or at least the intake, I would say, into the hardware itself.
Maybe at least some little holes like the 360, right?
Yeah, it may not be directly over the fan. It may be almost like those mock-ups we've seen earlier that you know, the community has done, where it's just like a set of just a grill just on the right side or something.
Far from the final product. That's what we're trying to get out there.
Yeah.
This isn't what this thing's gonna look like.
Yeah, I mean, look, it looks kind of like the S or whatever. I get that, but I will say this: it's the coolest looking dev kit I've seen. I mean, look, it's got like solutions to problems, like right there on the display. Like, isn't that like true developer friendly right there? I mean, Don, have you ever seen anything like that or heard of anything like that?
I haven't seen a developer kit with that because, you know, think about it, you got a room full of testers, right? You have several different builds. People don't know this about the Scorpio, but literally you can switch between your standard Xbox build and your Scorpio build by literally click of a button.
Click. Yeah,
which is like awesome.
So say you're doing a game that has a bunch of network and you have a room full of testers with like 20, 30 people, right? You can literally, you know, okay, now you're going to do standard Xbox One test and you're going to be Scorpio and you're going to be this, and they can see the results where they're getting that. And I also think there's some sort of metadata afterwards as well, where things are timestamped. So you can see it live, but I think there's going to be some sort of metadata you can kind of go back to where things went wrong and what was actually causing it, so you can kind of troubleshoot it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I like this idea because one of the things that the Xbox One did wrong, which, yeah, we can all admit that it was wrong, was they made the Xbox One more difficult to develop for than the PS4. Like, Sony did a good job at winning developers over. That was their big thing. Remember earlier in this generation, well, they went around to the developers and marked
because Sony fucking showed their shit first, and they're like, "Shit, we need to add some ESRAM or something to make up the bandwidth difference because we're gonna get destroyed."
Yep. You know? And so they did it, but ESRAM is like a pain in the ass. You know, it's not fun. So this doesn't have that. But yeah, obviously what they're looking to do is pretty interesting. And especially for optimized things, right? Like, we all know first party games excel, but the fact that they're going to be able to use like the DX12 stuff, which I know it sounds so funny because I've been talking about this shit for like 3 years. But this is real, guys. No, serious this time.
Serious this time. Well, it's different this time, right? Like they moved the DX12 command processor out of the CPU and into the GPU, right?
Yeah,
and they confirmed it just infinitely more efficient from like thousands of calls to 11.
The DX12 stuff only makes sense now, right? That Microsoft's been pushing this for so long because I think they've had a pretty good idea of what they were going to do with this, from the get-go.
Yeah, and unlike the X1, I know the X1's getting an update to enable Shader Model 6 and take some kind of advantage of this DX12 command processor stuff, but that's more on the software side. It does have some of the tech built in, but they're moving that into the hardware through an update. But this chip, like Albert Bonello was saying, is beefier, right? And it's going to get more calculations done faster. And finally, DX12 is getting to where it needs to be anyway. Before it was strictly software when people were saying DX12 was going to do all this shit, which, like I said, I'd never said that, but there were a lot of people, and I know crap, you fucking peddled the shit out of that shit like it was meth, but it's real this time.
He's like, you want to get some of this DX12?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen results on PC. It's going to be, they've said it's 50% boost to games like Star Wars Battlefront, any game using like Unity or Cry, all these big engines support DX12, so you'll see it in action.
Well, and then on the DX12 front, people have to keep in mind that there's, as people port their engine over to DX12, they're not implementing every feature of DX12. So every year as the engine matures on that particular API, right, you're going to see more and more improvements. So all the things that people have said about DX12 that are true, but it takes a while to implement all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And just so people know, Vulkan is a competitor to DX12. When DX12 is mature and where it should be, it'll be performing similar to Vulkan. That's how I feel about it there.
Yeah. Well, here's what they say about this. They say our overarching design principle was to make it easy for devs to hit our goals: 4K textures, rock steady frame rates, HDR, wide color gamut, and spatial audio. What's more interesting about the Scorpio console is that according to Microsoft, it's designed to incorporate basic off-use DirectX 12 draw calls into the GPU command processor itself, potentially freeing up some processing power for devs. So it was already powerful, and this thing's going to free it up to do even more. So since it's basically into the hardware.
That's why you see when they did the Forza tech test and that sort of stuff, that 20-30% plus overhead available is most likely due to a lot of that.
Well, yeah, but even still, I've got a card on the PC. You've seen the videos. I'm not getting those results, and I'm running DX12. This thing is much more powerful than an RX 480, and I was still doing 4K Ultra 2X MSA on 4K at above 60 with RX 480. So this thing is crushing that GPU. It's capable no matter what API it's running. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's not just the GPU either, man. The RAM's a big feature of that too, because even on our RX 480s, we don't even have RAM or VRAM that's fucking that fast either.
Well, we don't need the VRAM to be that fast because it's not even tapping out what RAM's there, right?
Yeah, so, that helps out. The faster it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're hitting.
Forza, that demo was only using 5 gigabytes, by the way. So I mean, the RAM helps. Don't get me wrong, and they're going to find ways to use that. Like Resident Evil 7, it'll use as much RAM as you let it, right? Yeah. I think that game will actually max out on RX 480 because it'll use every bit of VRAM that it can eat, right? So they'll find more and more ways to use it. But right now, on the demo we saw, that game on Ultra only used 5 gigabytes of the 8 available for development.
You're also looking at this thing, the memory speed on this is hitting GTX 1080 speeds.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, then 6 gigabytes faster, right?
Yeah, and I know dealers got an RX 40, I got an RX 40, and we got to fucking overclock the piss out of that to even kind of come close to what the fucking Scorpio is doing on those RX 480 chips they're using. So it's gonna be crazy. Well,
you know what I also like, to my point earlier, was about how bad the Xbox One was to develop for. It talks about, in terms of memory, gone is the Xbox One's combo of ESRAM and 8 gigs of GDDR3, DDR3 RAM. Yeah, it's been replaced with a flat slab of DDR5 RAM, 12 gigs in total. Developers can expect to use 8 gigs of that for the game itself, and that the ESRAM was axed in response to devs' requests. So they're basically requesting this. This goes into play with a lot of developers probably Some can probably be lazy and didn't want to fiddle with things. I mean, the Xbox One, when Microsoft pushed them to, you can look at like GTA 5 as an example. That was a 1080p game, or Destiny, or like they've had some 1080p games, but usually, like, even what was that game that you play all the time, Diablo 3?
Yeah.
Like, that was originally going to be 900, and Phil Spencer's like, whoa, we think you guys can get that to 1080, and then they did. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
add another step, right? Like, it only makes sense to take it out. They said that the inherent bandwidth of Scorpio's memory is fast enough to mitigate any low latency advantage of ESRAM. So it's so fast that it doesn't even know the ESRAM's not there, basically. Yeah. Right? They don't even have to fuck with it. And that's
if you look at the spec sheets that Digital Foundry put out, that's the theoretical throughput without the ESRAM on the Scorpio is faster than the ESRAM.
Yeah,
by like a small margin.
It's actually much bigger than that.
Oh yeah, I mean, the ESRAM only raises X1's bandwidth up to X1S. Actually, is slightly faster. I think it's 219 or something. So yeah, not even close, even with the ESRAM.
It's important to realize, like, game development's like it flows like water, right? It always tries to find the easiest route to go, right? Yeah. And that's just inherent with it. It has nothing to do with laziness or anything like that. It has to do with budget, time constraints, staff restraints, all these sort of things, right?
Multiple platforms.
Multiple platforms. So easier it is to produce something on another platform, the easier it is to get that up and going, the easier to get that particular title optimized, and the more hurdles you have to jump through on another platform, you're going to get poorer performance. That's just inherent with really anything.
So Don, as a developer, when you hear these dudes are getting this shit up and running in a day, right, as we heard today, well, how's that make you feel in comparison to what you know to be the case?
It's going to be great when I have to start hiring staff, right? I mean, like, I don't have to hire as much.
I'm just saying, like, how much faster would that accelerate what you do, what you're doing right now?
What I'm doing right now, actually, it's not so much that. It's just the fact that you can port my builds so quickly into the machine. I think that's one more part of the, basically I can just port everything through really quick and get it up and going. As far as, converting a standard Xbox One game to Scorpio, that's good. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but that's one of the problems the Pro has right now is the API needs a little bit more maturity. And that's the reason why people are getting such poor performance out of the Pro right now.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why, like, when you go into boost mode, when a particular user goes into boost mode, and sometimes it causes the game to crash because the game was really never designed to run that way. And
that's why they locked that other half of the GPU off behind a patch at the beginning.
Exactly. And the reason why they released it, they kind of uncap that is to kind of compete with their competitor, but that's fine. But you have to make your API scale to that additional hardware.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to ask a question here to the Dodd, because I have a little bit of experience with dev and programming and that sort of stuff. So, like, I mean, you have some developers, like, for the boost mode stuff where they, for instance, they'll, like, lock the frame rate in or lock in, like, animations or that sort of thing more to, like, the frequency of the hardware more so than, it's kind of like a trick if it's on a closed source. That's why it kind of causes issues, or
well, it's just there's other things, like just when it's drawing commands from GPU to CPU, and then you change the clock on that. The way Windows is set up, it's meant to scale for that. It knows how to figure all that stuff out, right?
Yeah.
The way, and then that's like at a much higher programming level than obviously than I do. I mean, that's real system level stuff, assembly language type stuff, and a developer doesn't want to have to do all that sort of stuff, right? There's a reason why Microsoft hires some of the most brilliant people to do all that, for everybody that develops on their software or their hardware or, anything along those lines. So, that's more or less kind of what happens is basically everything is out of sync.
Basically, this will become a non-issue soon, though, because boost mode, as everyone knows, is only for old games that were never patched for Pro. But every single new game is mandated to be patched. So, like I said, it's going to be a non-issue sooner than later. You don't got to worry about boost mode. You won't even ever use it because it only works with old games that weren't patched in the first place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm going to read a little part from this article from Game Sutra. And
think a Kama Sutra, but with a G in front of it.
Yeah. Gama Sutra. Oh, gotcha. So basically, here we go. What can you expect when it comes to get your current games up running on Scorpio? The answer seems to vary a bit within Microsoft. Two separate developers, the Coalition and Turn 10. So this basically confirms that Gears 4 and the Forza games will probably be native 4K as well. But each studio said independently that it took one person 2 days to get their latest Xbox One game up and running in 4K on Scorpio. However, the ATG chief, Jason Ronald, says it's taken some folks less than a day of work, just one person.
Usually
one of the
port teams are like 10 or 12, just to get perspective on that. So
yeah, see, so this is all very good, like super developer friendly.
You said up and running in 4K, right?
Yes, up and running. So
you've got almost all the hardware available to you that quick. You have to be running in 4K.
Yeah. So exactly. And then here's what the rest of it says. One of the things that's been really encouraging to us is most people who are used to doing hardware bring up usually it's a couple of weeks to get games just physically running on it, let alone at performance, what we've seen with some of the middleware partners. The first party and third party partners, people have actually been able to come in and get their game running at 4K in less than a day. So then once they've got the basic game up and running in 4K, then it's really about how to optimize it. Do you want to go after more effects, etc.? We've never had hardware this early running at near final performance, and this is part of what gives us confidence as we go into the holiday this year. We've got multiple games, multiple engines, multiple middleware up and running already, even before developers have hardware in studios. So, yeah, I mean, that is super impressive in my opinion, the fact that it's taking one person like a day or less to get these new games up and running, their latest games up and running in 4K. And then from that point, they can add different things like the effects and whatever. I think that's absolutely amazing. And like anybody that was like wondering what the Scorpio is going to do or what it was going to be all about, that kind of explains it right there. Like they're going after the developer friendly angle, and that's going to attract a lot of developers. Don't be surprised to see more. And we've seen this a little bit already. Like Sony were the indie darlings for the first couple of years, right? Now you're starting to see indie devs start to talk about Microsoft, right? Like I never thought I would ever see that happen, for better or worse. They're like, yeah, Microsoft's really doing a great job with ID and Xbox.
You have to understand, bro, that to port it in one day and that same day have it running at 4x the resolution of 1080p while you're still porting it, right? Like that's crazy. Like there's a reason you get higher resolutions or better graphics and maybe the sequel to whatever game X, right? Yeah. Because they've had time to actually do that. Like in one day they're running at 4K. That's pretty insane. Like damn near final performance. So
yeah, well, let's compare that to their competition just for a little bit. Like so, the 4K upscaling with Checkerboard, that's 3 to 4 weeks with 3 to 4 employees, right? Yeah. So it's considerably easier just to run it at 4K. So it's going to get that support. To give it in that perspective, it's cheaper. It's cheaper to the publisher, and you can get the game out sooner. Most likely, the Scorpio version will be done before the Pro version.
You're right, because they have to embed that checkerboard code into the game, right? So that's something Phil touched on. He said that's why we've implemented all of the checkerboard method and all that stuff into Scorpio, because if developers just want to bring over their already checkerboarded game, they don't have to start over again with it, right? They can just port it to Scorpio. Without, they can bring it however they want to bring it. If it's already checkerboarded for like the Pro, then they could just bring it over to Scorpio checkerboarded and just add more effects or maybe a better frame rate, right?
I mean, they're giving consumers and developers just more options really on that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying things won't eventually be checkerboarded on Scorpio. I'm saying I think that's a great feature to have for years down the road, or maybe whenever it can't hit 4K, however soon that might be. You can have that option. That's primarily what that's for.
Yeah. And here's another interesting part. Like, 'cause sorry, I'm like reading through this while you guys are talking. This guy from Microsoft says, "I want the best version of the games people want to play to be running on our platforms." By way of explaining why Scorpio exists, we didn't have that until we came up with the Scorpio. So Project Scorpio fills that gap. So what does that mean for Microsoft, given that some of the most successful console games this year, Zelda, and blah blah blah? So they basically, what he's saying is he wants all the games to be the best on Scorpio, and they're making it super easy for developers to do that. So before, like even with Japanese games, right, it might not have been worth their time to port games to Xbox One the old way. But now they have a new way and can do it super fast. So who's going to turn down quick revenue? I mean, even if you sell, let's say it takes one person from a team to do a JRPG one day to get it running up on Xbox, right? That's still, even if you only sell 50,000 copies, that literally doesn't cost you really anything. There's nothing but win there. You know what I mean?
People act like it's got to sell a lot initially, right? Like they don't think, this game, Japanese game X, is going to be on the marketplace for 10 years or more, collecting revenue, right? Obviously, much slower over time, but still money.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that could be huge going forward, and the fact that Microsoft is doing they're kind of they're way more transparent than like Sony was about all this stuff, right? Like Sony was like very kind of like, oh well, we're not going to really talk about this, we're not going to talk about this. Even now, like, do they even talk about the Pro?
Well, because the message is not clear. They don't have a marketing leg to stand on, right? I mean, it's a decent enough machine that you can do good things, right? But you don't have that 4K stamp that is very much a marketable tool in regards to, there's some people that don't care about 4K, but the reality is, you have that stamp on the box or that stamp on the game itself that goes a long ways. And so when you can just say 4K and people get it, customers want the easiest way to understand something and they move on, right? They don't want to dig deep. They want to say, what is it? Oh, is it 4K?
And just so people know too, yes, it will do more than 4K, obviously. For the higher resolution textures have been confirmed, and they've talked several times about higher graphic settings. They ramped up Forza Apex all the way to Ultra, and only using 80% of the GPU at 4K, 60 frames locked on an unoptimized piece of kit. So I mean, that's been confirmed by Digital Foundry. This is good. This is really good.
And also just to throw that out there again, you don't require a 4K TV or display to take advantage of what this thing can do.
Yeah, like I was looking at that Forza Motorsport stuff that Digital Foundry showed off that pic, and I'm looking at it on my PC screen, which is only 1080p, and you can still see a huge difference. So in my opinion, like that's what people are going to see. And everybody that saw that is obviously going to be extremely excited by what the future holds as far as the Xbox Scorpio is concerned. But yeah, I can see like Shiva was probably in a coma, and Noof is probably like, what the hell?
Just imagine all that aliens on all your old games that aren't patched and your 360 titles.
Yeah, your 360 titles are going to look better than ever.
What they say, it was like the equivalent of 16x AA on those things. And that's without a patch. That's what people got to remember. You just play it, it just works. And this is the first time ever in a console generation where they're just wasting power, and they've still got headroom. Yeah. And that Forza demo, they literally had level of detail ramped up on the car all the way out front. The same exact graphics you see in the car in front of you. That car up front, even though you can't see it, looks exactly the same, which has never been done on a console.
What's also crazy is that skybox that they put in that still shot, that is part of the image-based lighting that makes like the worlds come alive and kind of pop and all the reflections. What's crazy is that's not even in the Apex game that you can download on your PC. So like, to give you a little bit of an idea, that there's some extra stuff that even added on top of that just to get you that image, to give you those results.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty crazy. I've been analyzing that picture. I'm like, what the hell? I can't find that skybox. And I realized assets they pulled from Forza Horizon 3 from their dynamic skybox that they're doing there, and that's how they're able to get that image just to look as amazing as it does.
Yeah, because those two teams work back and forth, right? So
and then let's also mention too how much GPU killer it is to render all those cars at that high of a setting all the way out, because that stuff murders your GPU.
We have to address the fact, yes, it's Forza Apex, just one game, but here we have something to go off of because it is a PC game too. Right, so I'm just comparing my performance on my car, which is 5.9 teraflops, and from what I'm seeing from Scorpio, that thing is quite a bit, at least 10 to 15 frames faster, no problem in my card. And I'm just saying, with the same results on Apex, I can't get the exact same, but I can still do 4K 30 Ultra on tons of AAA games, and I've shown that on benchmark videos. Batman Arkham Knight, Shadow of Mordor, you're going to get 4K 30 high ultra settings a lot on Scorpio, and you have the RAM to support high resolution textures as well, which comes straight from the PC version. this is going to be different than what you're used to, and when you see it, you're going to understand why we're so excited about this stuff.
Yeah, they max out the game engine before they max out the hardware. Think about that for a sec. How often does that do? Because that's what they did. Because they ran out of stuff in the engine to throw at it, and it still had that overhead. So
unoptimized.
Yeah, unoptimized for sure.
So yeah, I mean that's all very like promising. Like that's why I'm excited. And apparently Microsoft scrapped plans to launch the beefier Xbox console last year for the simple fact of that they couldn't get the rock steady frame rates. The reason why they waited was to get the frame rates up, which to me, if any company deserved a fucking round of applause. I mean, frame rate's king, right? We all care about performance and like the frame. Yeah,
frame rate's the best part, the most important part.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, they could have. I mean, that's to me, that's a shot at Sony without even taking a shot at Sony, right? Saying, yeah, we could have done something like this last year, but the frame rates would have been shit, And then if you look at one of the big problems that the PS4 Pro has, it's the frame rates. So the fact that they said, hey, well, you know what, we took our time, we did it right. That fills me with even more confidence.
I don't know. I think the frame rate problems on the Pro are just exaggerated. There are examples of it running a little bit less consistent, but it's also doing that at a higher resolution, right? So I don't think it's less capable. I feel like if anything, it's just they're not optimizing properly.
I don't know. My issue is when I see stuff on the Pro and it drops down and you consistently kind of see it. I forget what game it was, but it consistently kind of goes into like the 23, 24 frame. That's like unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, but that was primarily launch stuff, right? Like generally, if the Pro and the base PS4 drop similarly, right? And in some games, but I'm just saying, like the frame rate drops are kind of exaggerated.
This whole generation has been exaggerated on all that stuff, right? Doesn't matter what it's been on.
Like, hang on, this one has less pixels. Yeah. Like you wouldn't know unless someone told you, probably.
Yeah. A perfect example of that would be Shadow of Mordor when that launched, and Digital Foundry wasn't around to check the game out, and everybody's like, I can guarantee it's 720p on Xbox One. It's got to be. It looks 720p to me, and then you find out it was like 900p, and people were like, oh, well, I thought it was 720p.
Like, when the IGN guys reviewed Ghost, but when the PS4 and before the patch, and it was 720p before the day one patch, and they gave it to the PS4 because they thought it was 1080p, right? So
yeah, they're like, hey, we're gonna give it to the PS4 because it's 1080p.
Yeah, you have to have a very specific person or a very specific eye to tell the difference between those. Just by yourself, like I can tell the difference kind of for the most part. Like I have a hard time telling it on the Xbox just because it's a bigger screen.
It just depends, bro. It depends on the primarily how far away you are from your TV, which also needs to be a certain size. So obviously you can tell, but if there's a lot of anti-aliasing on something and you're fucking 10 feet back on the couch, it's hard to tell in motion when you're, and especially in video games, it's a little more obvious. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, I mean, as you see higher and higher resolutions, just like you're in a better pair of headphones, you don't know things can sound so much better until you hear it. When you see 4K, you go back down to 1080, you're like, holy shit, now I can really tell because there is a massive difference or same between, something else. So you get what I'm saying, right? You got to see it, and then you get used to something. It drops, you notice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys something else, right? Call of Duty Black Ops 2 goes backwards compatible. Like, I'm sure you guys always seen the asshats that would always like message Major Nelson after every tweet. When's Black Ops 2? Blobs 2? Black Ops 2? Blobs 2? Or is it going to come back, right? So you have those people, and then you have the people that were kind of patiently waiting or whatever. And just so you guys know, Capital Foundry did a comparison video today, testing out the backwards compatibility version on the Xbox One versus the PS4. I think you guys will enjoy it, so you guys could go check that out. It's
always really good on the Xbox version, man.
It looks good on the Xbox One, and
colors are super vibrant.
They are, and then I think there was a lot of crushed blacks on the PS4 version, and kind of kept it. You know what I'm saying? It was like it wasn't as it didn't pop as much for me. So that's why on the Xbox One version, obviously.
Would you say it's suffered?
Before we get people saying nobody wants to play old games, go look up all the messages about PS4, please. Like so many people want this game.
Yeah.
Would you say that the issues for Black Ops 2 on the PS4 are the same issues that Red Dead Redemption has on the PS4?
You know what? I found my findings were very similar. In fact, the PS4 version, despite the PS4 having slightly more power, the backwards compatibility just isn't there yet. I think they have to kind of go back and fix some issues there. But there was over 150,000 people on this game today. I hopped on to play it. So obviously,
and look,
150,000.
And the other thing you see too, right? Anytime a big game like that goes backwards compatible, even sometimes even the smaller games, right? Like, because I kind of keep an eye out, like with that kind of stuff, like on eBay and that sort of thing. You see more and more of these games selling. Like even like I said, even on the smaller games, you see more used copies or more of this copy of these games selling.
Well, now we know Activision aren't planning on ripping you off with a remaster of it. So,
well, yeah, like I don't think
still
like
yeah, I mean they wouldn't have released it.
There's only 2 games really that they could remaster that people would buy. Probably Modern Warfare 2. Like those are the ones that people would really just kind of go out of their way to buy. That's why, like Call of Duty 3, World at War, the first Blobs. Although that's probably my favorite of the 3 Blobs games is the first one. But just seeing that like 150,000 people and everybody's like old games and like that's not the point when I bring this up. Like it's not the point that it's an old game that people can get excited about it, because look, old games never go out of style in my opinion, and the game plays and looks great still. You can see it. I did the video and I did a full render on it, so it's 1080 60, and that's how the game looks good and it plays good on so it's not that, it's the fan service that I like, right? Like Microsoft is listening. They're like, okay, you want the ability to get a refund on your games. Okay, here's what we're gonna do for you. Oh, you want backwards compatibility even though it's impossible and nobody thought it was possible. Oh, here you go. Oh, you want a more powerful console? Oh, here you go. You want an Elite controller? Sure, buddy, here you go. You know what I mean? Like they listen, and then you look over there and you see Sony just kind of going, we're for the players and for the greatest player or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like they're giving these slogans that these idiots fall for, and you're like, how long is a slogan going to fool people? Like, I mean, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool everyone all the time. And so I think the fact that people, and you're right, dealer, look at the comments when they said this game is backwards compatibility. Oh, how come not PS4? Why not PlayStation 4, right?
Would be better on PS4.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, how would it be better on PS4, bitch? You know what I mean? Like, fucking get an Xbox One and things are fucking $150.
Hang on, Crap. You said 1080 60 when you captured it. Well, you're not saying the game's 1080. I mean, God forbid you guessed the wrong resolution. Are you saying you captured it 1080p or the game ran?
Well, I captured it 1080p. I don't really know, dude. Last gen, nobody knew what the fuck these resolutions
720p.
were.
It's a joke.
Here's the thing, right? Like there were so many games last generation that were on the PS3 that ran far below the res on the PS3 version, or the frame rate was lower. And I tried to bring some of that stuff up to people because when it was actually a big difference, when it was like all sub like HD and everything like that, people were just like scratched their head. They're like, frame rate?
Well, I'd say it's a good thing people weren't comparing graphics so much back in the days of the N64, PS1, and Sega Saturn, because there was clearly a big difference in graphics in all 3 platforms. They didn't hardly run alike at all. So it's a good thing it wasn't back then, man. It would have been a field day. But yeah, Black Ops, man. It's it just tells you how much people like that franchise. And yeah, backwards compatibility. Apparently, it doesn't matter. Well, I don't know. It matters to about 140-something thousand people that were on that game today. And I would imagine that a bulk load when we're playing on their Xbox One. So
I don't know
that
how you
is
could
some
possibly complain about it, bro. How could you complain about getting the game you might have bought already digitally back in your possession to play? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
exactly. Your fucking games stay relevant, and you don't have to get rid of your collection. I mean, a lot of those games on 360, like they're prize games. Whether you had Red Dead Redemption or Left 4 Dead, you know, those are amazing games that will
even if
still
it
be
sucked.
amazing.
I mean, even if it sucked, you bought it and you get it back to play. Like it's an option. There's zero negatives.
I've never seen the problem with that either, right? And then on top of that, right, like it's just even more of a fan thing when it's a big game that people have been looking for, that people like. Like I'm not a fan of Black Ops 2 personally, but the fact that this came out and basically, you know, there's probably people out there who probably traded in their 360 and now they're they waited all this time to be able to play this game again.
If having too many games is your biggest problem, then that's a great problem to have.
Yeah, I got a question for Crap, because since you did the video today, you know, we're all about like performance. We like that nice 60 FPS. How was it on the PS4?
Oh, the frames per second on the PS4?
Yeah.
It was
I was on the Xbox One. It was like 60 frames per second.
Yeah, on the Xbox One, you can see it, man. Like the video, if you watch it, it's super smooth and it looks good. And then when I went to the PS4 version, it was like it wasn't even there. So it's you know, it was it was definitely it wasn't as good on the PS4. I can say that. If you're looking for you know, and then let me just point out real quick that's one of the reasons why I'm all in. Like, you can ask Hellhammer, do I just not buy like fucking game upon game? Like today, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna buy that game. I'm gonna buy. You know what I'm saying? It's like
he's just going through a list, just buying games. I'm like, you seriously have a problem with buying games.
The reason is because for the first time, you're confident that your games are going with you. You know, and they're gonna perform better. It's like, even if I can't play them right now, it's like I got this big wall full of 360 games, and so the ability to be able to play those on my Xbox One, or I can get them digitally or whatever, I think that's absolutely fantastic, and you get to take everything with you. It's like the reason why I bought an Elite controller is because I can use that on the Scorpio and going forward, you know what I mean? Whatever you buy now is good, and that's brilliant. That's really a good move by Microsoft, and so I think that this is good. It's not, oh, you're excited over old games. It's not that, man. I'm excited over the fan service, that my games are relevant still, like you said, Noof. And this is an amazing thing, like, for everybody. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing.
Hey, there's the games that came up on here that I bought last generation that I never got a chance to play. Case in point, that Alice Madness Returns game. I bought that digitally. Didn't get the chance to play it. Packed up my 360. I don't want to have a bunch of stuff all, you know, whatever. I like to keep my stuff sleek and in one little area and not have to have, you know, 15.
Hey, She-Wolf loves that game, don't you, She-Wolf? You can unmute your thing and be like, I love that game.
The only downside is that if you do go in to buy or rebuy, see if you traded in the game or you sold it and you go in to rebuy it at GameStop, they jack up all the fucking backwards compatible.
It's like $50.
Like, what the heck? It was like 14 last week. Now it's like 35. What the hell?
It's $24.99 now. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, is it? It's like,
dude,
man,
like all these. That's how all the games are.
If you kind of, I know some people kind of put off some of the games at the end of the 360 lifespan because the X1 was coming out. Everyone was excited. I don't want to play these old games, right? So people didn't buy Blacklist, Splinter Cell Blacklist because of that. People didn't buy Batman Arkham Origins because of that. I really recommend
that was a really good game. Yeah,
Batman Arkham Origins and Splinter Cell Blacklist are worth playing. So if you can play those back and back, I'm not sure if they're on the list, but if they are, you should play them.
They're not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. And they're supposed to reveal another Batman game at E3, which is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, Splinter Cell Conviction needs to be back compat too. Hopefully they get on that. Maybe at E3, if they do launch a Splinter Cell game, maybe they'll have those back compat games then possibly. It would make sense. Just like I expect that the Crackdown games will most likely be backwards compatible, or maybe they are backwards compatible, but I think they'll be free probably on Xbox Live Gold. I'd be willing to call it that when Crackdown 3 comes out, I'm willing to bet at least one of those Crackdown games will probably be free on Gold.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, and let's also mention another big part about the backwards compat part. I mean, you buy a game now, if it's, you know, the second, third iteration, a lot of these games now are giving you the previous iterations for free now when you buy them, especially the digital copies, right? Like I bought Just Cause 3. I got Just Cause 2 for free.
Yeah. Although that's another one of those games that we just have, like, I'll just scroll through and be like, oh, we got that game. Or hell, I'm going to go, oh, what did you get, an indie game? Or, oh, you got that game, huh? And I'm just like, yeah, you know, I mean, it's just like that. That's how it is. It's like, and that's what I love about this generation is that even though it kind of maybe started off a little bit rough, and a lot of people do trade in their old console when the new ones come out. But like you said, Dealer, like Blacklist, I bought it, but I only played it a little bit. I loved it, but Xbox One was out. You know what I mean? It's like, so I jumped on that. But I would like to go back to
that game, and I haven't even played it. But I haven't played it at all.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I gotta say, Crap, a shout out to you, Crap. One of your most simplest videos was still one of your best videos, and it goes back to when backwards compatibility Red Dead Redemption dropped, and you put out that video, and you can comment on this, where you showed it running on Xbox One and then running on PlayStation, and I think there was somebody in your comment section too asking like, I don't get it. They're like, why is the PlayStation 1 black or whatever?
That was funny.
You know what? I gotta say this, right? Like that video, that I just did that video as like a gag or whatever, right? Because the way I do my channel is I don't like to be just pigeonholed into one thing. So I'll do a little bit of everything: reviews, previews, kind of funny comedy shit. So it was like Red Dead Redemption backwards compatibility, and that shit's like fucking 45, 50,000 views later. You know what I mean? People fucking loved it. So I was like, that's really funny.
This idiot forgot to plug in the capture card on the PS4.
People in the comment section like, something's wrong with this video. It's like,
no, there's nothing wrong with the video.
When I first watched that video, I like fucking almost died. Like,
yeah. So, and the funny thing is the videos usually take a couple of takes. Because I'm trying not to laugh or whatever, or trying to sound like it's really like a comparison. Like I did have one person message me on Twitter. He's like, man, he goes, crap, I don't know, something's wrong. When you were showing the PS4 footage, it was just a blank screen. I don't know if you know that. And I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? I was like,
did you at least tell him?
Yeah, I was like, it's a rib, man. There is no backwards compatibility on the PS4. You know what I mean?
There's not?
No, there's not.
But I'm a player, and they're supposed to be.
hey, if you just want to stream a half-ass copy and pay monthly for it, you could get your old games back.
Yeah.
So they have
Well,
that.
then they'll tell you now that's not good enough because it's in 720p, so.
Oh, damn, yeah, you're right.
But, Killzone multiplayer was good enough, so I don't know.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Weird how that works.
I saw you.
No one could tell
yeah.
for 7 months until Digital Foundry told them. But
when I'm still pissed off at PlayStation because I can't change my gamer tag from Sweet Little Pickle Pudding anymore. Come on, get with the program.
Sweet Little Pickle Pudding. Man, that's a terrible name. That's worse than the fucking McLovins that you see running around.
I wonder how many McLovins are still on PSN because they can't fucking change their name.
When that movie came out, there was like McLovin 405, McLovin 29.99. You know what I mean? It was like fucking so many McLovins, and people change. Fucking 10 years later, they don't want to be known as McLovin anymore.
People that got more fucking numbers in their name than a Pentagon vault.
Yeah, and before we get too far off the subject, I do want to say the game didn't run at 1280 by 720 because we're going to get comments. It ran at 960 by 1080, which is damn near the equivalent of 720p with the pixel density. So that surprised a lot of people. Like it's the same amount of pixels, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you rearrange them.
Almost.
They were using temporal projection or whatever the hell that was, and I remember that was a thing. Everybody's like, "Yeah, we love it. It's great. They're geniuses, guys. They're complete geniuses, right?" Even though the whole resolution war was built up of complete bullshit. Uncharted Lost Legacy gets an August 22nd release date. It's going to cost $40. Interesting that when you buy it in the UK store or whatever, the label says console exclusive. I guess some people are freaking out about this. Like maybe it's going to go to PC or whatever. I just thought it was funny, just to maybe talk about it a little bit. Like I could see Sony has published games to PC before, usually smaller games. I'm not really sure. Like this could be a mistake, but why do you make a mistake like that on like a digital store purchase?
It's
right where
it's future proofing what you're doing is what. Yeah. So you leave the option open if you want to go digital, or you go on PlayStation Now, that sort of thing. So
I think they already know what they're doing, and there's a reason. Like I said, they like we said on Xbox Nation, right when they consolidated all the PS Now platforms, and then not even like a month later or so, they announced it for some exclusives coming over to PS Now, right? Yeah. Those two things are directly associated. That's the reason they did it. Yeah. And it's a very high possibility you might see this on PC at some point.
Does anybody remember though when they started consolidating all the PlayStation Now devices, and we were like, they're gonna be putting PS4 games on there, and everybody's like, no.
You guys are liars.
You guys are so. You're fat, Crap Gamer. You're fat. You shut up, Crap Gamer. You're fat. Yeah, I mean, do you guys think $40 is a little bit much for this though?
Oh yeah. No, yeah. How long was it?
Well, it depends on how long it is. I mean,
they say originally they said 6 and then 8 and then 10 hours, but they also said that Uncharted 4 was like a 20+ hour game, and I beat it, and I think.
Oh my god. I saw a comment where somebody said the Uncharted DLC is longer than Quantum Break. And I was like, well, it's 3 times longer than The Order. I don't know. So it's not even about it. It's not about length, right, in terms of how long the game is, because some games run on too long. So who cares how long it is as long as it's quality? I think $40 is still too expensive, though. This is DLC, right? So
Well, now they're saying standalone or whatever.
Standalone DLC is DLC you can buy without the first game, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll pay $40 for it because I'm an Uncharted fan, huge Uncharted fan, and when people are going out spending $20 on fucking Modern Warfare remastered map packs when they should have been with the game anyway, it's like, damn.
Hey, well, you know what? Look, I'm an Uncharted fan too, but I just, I made 2 points on this today on Twitter that if Microsoft were releasing, I don't care if it was a standalone or not, for $40, like people would flip out. And the second thing is, even if they're considering this like a standalone Uncharted game, then how come nobody's ever mentioned that maybe Uncharted, even though I like the series, is milked a bit, right? The series came out in 2007. And this would make the 5th standalone game. There's also a collection, and there's also a Vita game, all in 10 years. Yeah, to me, that is a bit of milking. I agree, it's a great franchise, right? So, but why is that not considered milking a franchise? But yet, 4 Gears games or 5 overall is, or you know what I'm saying? Or there's more Gran Turismo games than there are Forza, but they consider Forza to be milked. Even though, or Ratchet, there's 12 Ratchet and Clank games, and nobody's ever said that's milked.
There's 12 Ratchet and Clank games?
There's 12 Ratchet and Clank
I knew there was a lot, but 12, geez.
Yeah, there's 12. Yeah, there's a shit ton of them.
Or MLB The Show. Like, obviously, it's a sports game, and I'm just saying, like, people say, well, there's 4 Forza games on that list, and there's 4 fucking baseball games on their list, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, to me, like, why is it, like, so one-sided or whatever? Like, couldn't you really consider that to be a bit of a milk franchise? This is, like, the 2nd Uncharted game in 2 years. Even though they say, well, they're done with it or whatever, I have a sneaking suspicion that they're not.
Well, I mean, I think like other developers can do it. Like
hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good. That's all that really matters.
I think it'll be good. I don't got to pay $40 for it, but I'm not paying no $40 for that because I already have the other thing or whatever that means I get it for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
what gets you it for free?
If you have if you had bought like the certain version of it or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Like at the end of the day, it's like it's Naughty Dog. They're a quality developer. If it's got like 6 to 8 hours and $40, like I think if it was anybody else, I'd probably be like, nah, I don't think 40. I think $40 is too much for it. But it's from Naughty Dog.
They're one of the best developers of all time.
$30 now for like what 2 and 3 hour indie games. So I don't see how this is all that bad. I mean, you got to put it in perspective, right? You got to call a spade a spade. I'm not saying it's the best price, but I mean, just go out there and go through your collections and ask yourself, what have I paid overpriced crazy money for that hasn't, lived up to its billing or just it was really short? You know what I mean? There's always something.
I'm honestly like interested into the storyline too of the 2 female protagonists in here because I liked ODST and I liked Reach for Halo too, and I thought those were great spin-off series, and I would like to see how this goes too, man. So.
People hated ODST, but I actually liked it.
ODST was fantastic, bro.
Yeah, Reach was my favorite game.
Reach is fantastic.
Reach was awesome, especially that end. Like the first thing we did when we played it was we played 4-player co-op. Yeah, I was the last one, man. My visor's cracking. Everybody's like, "You can do it, Crappy," and I'm like, I don't think they let you do it. Yeah, I was like, I think I'm just gonna die because they don't want. There's no way out of here. You know what I mean?
I still got that big ass statue from Reach, the collector's edition.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, Hellhammer has that. Hey, let's see. We can still get some She-Wolf in here. She-Wolf, how's Yooka-Laylee? Hello.
I hear her talking, but I don't hear her coming through the mic.
Oh, interesting.
My mic wasn't working.
Oh, now it's working. How's Yooka-Laylee, She-Wolf?
You're gonna talk about it now at 10 o'clock?
Well, I just wanted I just wanted to get your impressions on it real quick. I figured I was just curious. I mean, I only
dialogue is terrible though.
Oh my god, wah, 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 wah. Like, oh my god, I can't stand the voices. I was actually playing it while you guys were talking because I was so bored.
She-Wolf is so bored of Xbox Nation that she plays Yooka-Laylee.
Well,
but it is a quality game.
It's hardware talk. But no, the game itself is actually really fun. It's well worth the money, especially it's only $39.99, and I'm literally I've been almost 4 hours into the game now, and I'm still on the first level trying to complete everything. Like, there's so much to do.
I don't know, after your Snake Pass story. Are you,
oh God,
are you struggling? Or is it...
I didn't even go back to that game. Once I finished my stream, I was done.
I'm telling you, go back and learn to balance left and right trigger. I guarantee you'll have
left
a lot
and
more
right
fun.
trigger helps.
Or you can play the game, and that would be like, I'm not playing it.
Oh my God. Go play some more time games.
More time games?
Yeah. She already forgot.
Forgot about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Remember, we had made the time games joke a while back.
Halo Wars 2 time game. That's what you called it for some reason. Never mind.
Anyway, so what do you think about Yooka-Laylee? Like, is it basically just Banjo-Kazooie?
It's definitely got the same feel as Yooka-Laylee or Spyro, any of those games from back then. It has that feel, and it still has the fun quality to it. I don't like the fact of the voices, and you can't skip them. Like, you literally just have to like keep pressing A until they all go through. You can't just skip all of it, so you're stuck listening to it. And it doesn't seem like you can just shut off the voices and say like listen to everything else, which really sucks.
There's no mute option on the voices at all.
No.
Yeah, there's no mute on the voices. But you know what the thing is though, is like this game is basically a callback to the people who are fans of Banjo-Kazooie. Like the voices are the same as what's on Banjo-Kazooie, except for on Banjo-Kazooie you can skip the voices.
Yeah.
But I mean, basically the game is basically you take an N64 era platformer, and you rip it out of the cartridge, and you slap on a higher resolution.
The clouds, more like it.
Yeah.
I mean, the draw distance was so horrible. You're just playing in fog, basically.
Yeah. I mean, but basically, as far as the whole game goes, as far as from what I played, because I put about 2.5 hours into it so far, and it's very good. It's very N64-ish is what I'm going to say, right? Like, if you don't enjoy those kind of games, it's probably not your game. But if it's, if you're a platformer gamer, or if you grew up on those games,
like platformers.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's a great platformer.
Yeah, I think it's got really interesting worlds. Like I'm pretty far through it. I think I'm almost on the 4th world now. I think there's only 5 worlds total. But it's very interesting. Like there's like this Halloween themed one, which is really cool. I'm enjoying that right now.
What do you guys think about the mediocre reviews for it so far? Because like from what I'm seeing, like I haven't really got to play it much yet, but it seems like it's a good classic kind of fun platformer. But most of the reviews that I saw are like, well, it's not reinventing the wheel, blah, blah, blah. But then the same thing, but those same people gave like the new Ratchet and Clank, which is basically just a remake of the first game, like 9s out of 10s and stuff. I mean, you know what I mean?
That's what I don't listen to any reviews because I thought Horizon Zero Dawn was a fantastic game, but it didn't reinvent anything. It was literally using stuff from other games and stuff like that. And it's the same as here, but that doesn't take away from it's a great experience and it's a fun game. Like I don't fucking even listen to these retards.
Yeah, this game it's a fun game that didn't reinvent anything. I mean, the whole point of them starting this game was to go back to the roots of platform gaming, or to like the Banjo-Kazooie style or the N64 style like platformers. So anybody who was going in to expect like a reinvented type of genre game or whatever was going in with the wrong idea anyways, right? Yeah. What this game is attempting to do, it does perfectly, right? Like get down to everything, every little detail is perfect on how it plays.
Developers that came from Rare that worked on Banjo-Kazooie and pretty much made a Banjo-Kazooie game. Like that's
it's just
I feel like next year we're gonna get a Spyro remake or something next year or something.
That would make She-Wolf happy, right? Because I know she's a
Spyro.
Yeah. In fact, somebody won Yooka-Laylee on Console Corner last night by recognizing that you used a Spyro picture or something like that. Yeah, I was like,
Blinks and Spyro.
Yeah. Well, Hellhammer, Hellhammer kept on bugging me. He's like, so, man, you going to get Yooka-Laylee? When are you going to get Yooka-Laylee, huh? Did you get Yooka-Laylee yet, huh? So I was like, man.
Buy this one? Do I have done much to it? Are you going to do it?
Yeah, you're going to buy this one? Like, hopefully, like, later on this year, man, he steps up and buys a bunch of games, man. I've been buying all the games, man.
It's not like there's not enough shit to play already. I mean,
that's why I haven't been buying anything, because it's like I already had, like, I looked at my list of games and I'm like, man, there's so many games that I have to play, and I haven't even, some of these games I haven't even booted yet.
Yeah,
$100 on friggin' the summer or spring sale, dude.
Yeah, dude. Did you buy Marvel Ultimate Alliance combo pack?
No, I need to go buy that one. Thanks for reminding me.
You should buy it because I totally bought that today, and yeah, I was like, hell yeah. I know,
that'd be
like
a cool game to play through with some people. Actually, again, it's been years.
Yeah. So, well, I had it on 360. The first one we both played it, me and Hellhammer, and it was great. Then I bought the second one. I got it off eBay or something, and the game was messed up. Like it didn't give us the achievement correctly. I don't know. It was like
it didn't play right at all. Like like every other every other achievement that you're supposed to get, we would get. So like Crapgamer has like half of the achievements, and I have the other half.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, it wasn't great. What do you guys think of this spring sale? Do you to me again these deals that they're doing now, like these big kind of sales are again they're trying to maybe appeal a little bit to some of the PC crowd that's used to Steam. Sales, yeah, and I've noticed this. Yeah, like I've noticed this, and not like I said, not a lot of people are bringing it up that they're gonna bring obviously keyboard and mouse support on certain things to the Scorpio as well. It's going to be able to do VR. I've heard that it's going to be able to run Oculus like straight off the bat. And that thing's got a price drop to like $499 or whatever. So if you were looking for high-end VR and you buy a Scorpio, you can get it for basically the same fucking price that you would get the PlayStation VR, which is phenomenal. I would be in at that price. You know what I mean? Like that would be a good price point for me.
I'd be all in for an Oculus if it runs on that. To be honest, just to try it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think that would be pretty cool. Hey, look at that! ID at Xbox titles recently passed 1 billion gameplay hours. Can I just say, what is the deal with Microsoft like announcing these weird stats? Like, this is how many people fucking ate a sandwich where they did this, or this is you know what I mean? Like. Like that's not really a good stat. Like, okay, 1 billion gameplay hours. I mean, like that could mean
a pretty good stat. Like, and for little ID at Xbox games, 1 billion hours. That's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, come on, I talked about games that are lightning in a bottle. See that is a fucking lightning in a bottle game because that just kind of came out of nowhere and took off like gangbusters, and it's just crazy, like that and Minecraft and Warcraft at one point.
Yeah, you never said the game.
Soccer cars.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you see the tweet, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you heard one of us say soccer cars.
Yeah, it's soccer cars. Yeah, so yeah, that's
that's not an ID at Xbox game, though, is it?
Technically, it's an indie game, though. I don't know if it's...
I don't think it was introduced through ID at Xbox. Basically, they're talking about the little like rinky-dink indie games on the store, not like soccer cars, right? Like that's a little. I wouldn't say that's like some of the beginning developer stuff.
Well, anything that's independent that doesn't have a publisher,
it's just independent.
Falls into that category. So
yeah, but they didn't. I don't think they went through ID at Xbox. So
yeah, well, I mean, man, there's
like technically you could like try to call The Witcher 3 it's a type of indie game because they're not owned by anybody, right?
Yeah, that you're never going to win that argument. People were trying to say that Sunset Overdrive was indie, Titanfall was indie, and I'm just like, I don't want to argue that point.
I would say, that on that point, like anytime you get a major publisher behind you, like The Witcher had a major publisher.
That's why I say a true indie dev is like somebody who doesn't have anybody helping them.
Yeah, they self-publish and shit, right? It's like Soda Drinker Pro or whatever, right? Like
bonus soda.
Bonus soda. Yeah, like terrible.
Was super hot ID at Xbox game?
Yeah, super hot.
I know that game sucks. But,
everybody's like, that game's so inventive. I'm like, that game sucks.
I couldn't stand it.
What are you doing it?
Terrible game, fucking awful. It's like a shooter, right? Yeah. But every time you move, like the bullets that are coming at you don't move unless you move.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like
it's like a puzzler too.
It's like a puzzle shooter. Oh. Yeah, and then it's like that game is.
Look at the video of it. You gotta really. It's hard to explain unless you watch.
Why do you hate it so much, Crapgamer?
I suck it. I suck at it.
Crapgamer mode.
Crapgamer mode.
Can I just have the mode where the time is stopped and I can just move?
Yeah, just let me move around and like punch him and stuff or shoot him, and I'd be happy. But it's like no, it's like they make you think.
The cardboard cutout mode where he just goes up there and just like blows him over.
Yeah, so that's what I like, man. Like I put my stuff on the easy mode. No shame in that. You know what I mean? Tomorrow is NPD day. PlayStation's gonna win.
Yep.
No, maybe Switch, right? Maybe Switch.
No, maybe it depends on how many they had. I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say PS4 though.
Yeah, you can't sell them if you
Horizon.
don't have them on the shelf. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is for sure, man. So what are you guys going around the room? What do you think, real quick?
I'll take that Switch bit. Sure.
Oh, okay, we got one Switch. I'm PS4. What about you, dealer?
What month is this for? Is for last month?
Yeah. March.
Horizon came out February, the end of February.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say they split up a lot of that February revenue or purchases in the next month because of that. So I think it'll be close. They sold pretty much every Switch. How many Switches did they have? Did they say?
They said it was like they were gonna have like 2.5 million, 3 million, something
And that
like that.
was at launch.
Yeah.
Then the Switch had to take it if they sold all those. Because PS4 didn't sell 2 or 3 million consoles in 1 month.
Yeah, probably not. So, but who knows if they had how many they had in America? They could have maybe had 1 million.
Yeah, you're
but
right.
even so, if they had 1 million, that's probably.
Still a lot.
I mean, on average, like for that month, like it's 150 to 300,000 consoles.
I'm still saying that Sony cooked the books and they're gonna win.
I'm just gonna lock in that Microsoft being the caboose.
Choo choo.
Yeah.
Choo choo. Everybody needs a caboose. Every train needs a caboose, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I know.
They'll make up for it later this year.
Yeah, they will. What about you, Noof? What do you got, man?
Man, like I said, I've just been playing Mass Effect, trying to get through some of that back catalog. I sound like a broken record every time I come on a podcast. Like, what are you playing? Mass Effect? Because that's literally pretty much all I have.
We're talking about
NPDs,
NPDs. We're talking about NPDs, Noob.
Don't let him just go.
He's like sitting there.
He's still fuming over the GameStop. Can't concentrate.
NPDs, I'm going to side with crap. I think PlayStation may pull out a narrow victory again overall, just because I think they have more consoles in stores that people can actually buy, where I don't think the Switch, I mean, the hype is dying a little bit for Switch, obviously because they just haven't been able to put them back in the stores.
You know what? I would say the hype is dying on it, Devin, just because of the stores. But like every time I've been into a store here, at least locally, I've seen at least 2 to 4 Switches.
Yeah, he actually saw an NES Mini the other day too, which I still haven't managed to find.
Switches and NES Minis in.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah. But what about you, Don? What do you think, man? You thinking PS4, Switch?
It's tough. They borrow. But it's between those two, right? They both had the best.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not the X-Bone.
Well, as far as the exclusive argument and as far as momentum around PlayStation, but I'm gonna say Switch. I'm gonna throw my hat in that ring. I don't know how long their lead will last, but we'll see how it goes. But
interesting.
I think Switch.
So we're all pretty much that Microsoft and the Xbox One will be the caboose.
Oh yeah,
which is fine. Which is fine. What about you, She-Wolf? Are you gonna throw your hat in the ring and who's gonna take it? The Switch or the PS4?
Oh, Sony's taking it.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Sony is taking it.
Sorry, but there's just been too much complaint about how the only game there really is to buy with the Switch is obviously Zelda.
They sold them out though.
Yeah.
How many did they actually release for them to sell out? Like, the Switch doesn't release a whole bunch of them at once.
I like that.
I mean, they said 3 million. If they didn't put at least 1/3 of that in the States alone, they are idiots.
Plus, they upped their production to 20 million this year, so you know that it has to be selling a little bit.
Well, when I got mine from Walmart, the guy literally told me, one of the management said that each Walmart across Canada had 32 units per store, and I think how many stores was there's like I don't know, 300? No, not even 300 stores. I think it worked out to be in something like across Canada it would have only been like 36,000 units or something like that. So. That's certainly nothing.
Walmart, though. That's not. I mean,
yeah, it's just from Walmart, but still,
yeah.
Even the EB game chains weren't getting that many. I think they were only getting about 20 units or something like that.
Well, hell, Walmart sells more consoles and games than fucking EB games. So
yeah. So I mean, it's interesting. I'm gonna pay attention to it tomorrow, even though I'm not really to me, I don't really care, but it's just interesting to see where it'll wind up. And
we're just sitting in lawn chairs waiting. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what we're doing. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. But we've cruised past 2 hours, and please hit that like button as we do our outros and stuff. Like GKB, what do you got going on, bro?
Doing some more videos, man. You're gonna be streaming. I think she will stream Sticks tomorrow. Gonna be on the Shop Podcast on Saturday. I think maybe I'm on BGST. I don't know what's going on with that.
BGST probably Monday because Sunday is Easter, and we're probably not going to do it. We're definitely not doing a show on Easter. So
whatever goes
probably,
on.
yeah, you'll be on there too, which is cool stuff because we're going to actually be hopeful. We probably should run through that sometime too.
Yeah,
maybe go back to like we're going to try taking some calls and stuff. You're going to be setting that up. So yeah, BGST will be cool doing that. We're gonna test it out, see how you like it, see how it goes. It could be interesting with that crowd that watches that show, how that's gonna go. So it'll be funny. It'll keep us on our toes at least. She-Wolf, what about you? What do you got going on?
Well, GKB already said what I am doing. I'm streaming tomorrow, so.
What about game night? You got anything?
Game night is going to be Titanfall 2, and then if everyone gets bored, we're gonna go into Black Ops 2. So. Oh,
okay. Interesting. That sounds pretty damn awesome. Hellhammer, what do you got going on? No, I didn't get my videos out.
I actually do have 2 videos recorded, but with you constantly uploading, I only have a very brief window.
Oh, I'm not constantly uploading. I would say
get these things put out there.
Yeah,
I do plan on actually getting at least the first one though, because I think I want to go back and edit a little bit on the second one. I'm gonna get that uploaded tonight though, hopefully sometime before I go to bed.
Well, that's what I'm
talking about.
Never. I wouldn't count on it, folks.
Otherwise, I'll be back on here next week, and I can be found on Xbox Live, XX Hellhammer, or on Twitter at XX Hellhammer.
Hell yeah, bro. Dealer, what do you got going on, man? I know you're busy. You got dropping videos, getting 30,000 views of video and shit.
Hey, Hellhammer, what's that video about you're making?
Oh, it's just Scorpio impressions and what I think about the hardware, that sort of thing, just a little bit more in depth.
Okay, well, number one thing you should ask in that video is if it's got a built-in hand job machine. I'm just saying. So, yeah, like you said, I did a video today. The dev kit stuff is really cool, and very interesting. I don't recall the first time we've seen dev kits this early. And just what this thing is doing is awesome. So super exciting times. Be happy. I'm noticing a shift in the comments. A lot of people commenting like, I got to give them props. Like that's what I'm hearing from Sony guys. I got to give them props. So, give them props just like, I would give Sony props for coming out with a good PlayStation 4. That was a good base model. They did the research. And it's going to be a great success to the X1, so, or at least another extension to the X1. So yeah, follow me on YouTube at Dealer Gaming, and obviously Dealer_Gaming on Twitter, and II Dealer II.
I finally added him on Xbox Live. I was like, yo, add me back.
Well, bro, I'm like in the middle of writing 3 different papers, so I got like 20-something pages of some shit to write, and I hadn't been on Xbox Live in like a day and a half. It's kind of rare for me, so. Yeah, I did add you back, by the way. Tell Moosh to add me there and add me on Twitter as well.
I'll tell him to add you. Noof, what do you got going on, bro?
Well, I think I already spilled the beans on what I got going on. So, Mass Effect, pretty good.
Mass Effect.
But, I don't know if you want to ask, Cletus what's going on or what he's playing.
What's going on, Cletus? What do you got going on, bro? Processor.
I'm glad you asked there, Crapgamer. Great podcast there, by the way, guys. I really like all the stuff you've been talking about. I don't understand it, but it sounds really fucking cool. But I've been playing that Legend of Zelda game there on the Switch, and I'm pissed off because I can't even swim across a fucking stream, man. He dies, and then I get out of the fucking thing, and I'm cracking the sticks off on all of these pig motherfuckers, and then I get some kind of a kite object, and I'm sailing all over the place, and then I dies in the air because his fucking stamina runs out again, and man, that game is frustrating as shit, and somehow it gets like a 10 out of 10. Like, my God, man.
Hey, any game where you can die eating a donut, Noof.
Yeah, that's gonna get a 10. You have to expect that, bro. And yeah, absolutely. And hey, Noof, man, I appreciate you hopping. I know we had a heavy on the hardware talk tonight, but I appreciate you sticking it out. You too, She-Wolf, because I know that hardware is not like. And to my credit,
I was tempted to leave and see if anyone even noticed.
Yeah, like
that's all good, man.
You should stream Snake Pass again. She will.
Yes, I would actually donate.
Dealer, get over it.
No, I will not.
Try.
I would donate to see that actually.
Yeah. Just so you know, I got that gold coin under that first bridge, She-Wolf.
Would you like a gold star?
I want 2 gold. I actually want a real gold coin for doing that.
And the Don, man, thank you very much for helping us out tonight, man. What do you got going on, bro?
I got a lot actually. So on K Mega's channel, we do the GRG pregame, me and K Mega, and so that's probably going to be launching on this Friday. So check out K Mega 405, and on Xbox channel on Saturday we do the next podcast. And then on my YouTube channel, I'm actually going to be kind of doing a video in relationship to how games do really scale from an asset level, from high end to low end. So a lot of people are always worried about like how, how their older console going to be left behind. I don't really think we're in that space anymore, and I'm going to show why that's the case, kind of behind the scenes. So
good stuff.
So just like just a model that I've worked on. It's actually going to be in my game, so you'll get a sneak peek of what my
Scorpio game you're working on.
Well,
we know you're making a fucking Scorpio game. Don't you lie.
Apparently, I have to make it for both pieces of hardware, right? So
Good
well,
one,
I mean,
there,
at least
Don.
it's easy, right? At least it's easy this time.
No, it's really not going to be hard to scale these games between both platforms. I mean, the base model consoles that we have right now are so powerful. Like people don't even realize it. And when you take the whole resolution argument away from it by having more capable hardware for that argument, that you're going to get much more life out of your standard PS4.
So you're saying, you don't. I mean, we all know eventually the base X1 will be dropped in support, right, to further everything, but it'll be quite a while because they can continue to drop res and all this stuff.
You're at a minimum of 6 years.
Yeah,
like literally, because the biggest thing that takes up all the assets, or sorry, the system memory is your textures. Mm-hmm. Like that's what it all comes right down to, and so that's an easy thing to scale. So you can always scale textures down. That's pretty easy. So
interesting. So that sounds like you're pretty busy. I actually am busy too. Let's see. Me and Mooch are going to be doing a live stream of some game Friday night. I'm not even sure what it is yet. We're also doing, I think probably could be Friday as well, the first Patreon exclusive MNC Mornings podcast. So if you guys aren't signed up to our Patreon, link is below. You guys can sign up there and support us there. It helps out with like the giveaways and keeping us on iTunes and things like that. And then Friday night I am on before I do the streaming, I'm on the Quest podcast, guys.
Nice.
Yay. So that's going to be cool. The first time being there with Goldblum and the gang. So looking forward looking forward to that. And then it's just it's good. It's been busy. And then then
another podcast.
Yeah, and then Sunday morning, of course, MNC Mornings right here with Mooch and Crab Liver. So make sure you guys check that out. And we'll catch you guys. Oh, buy some shirts, man. 4K makes you a better gamer, man. So far, I've sold about 8 of them fuckers. So yeah, buy them, man. Buy. And we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks. We'll catch you later. Rack 'em up.